70-yard touchdown pass in overtime. Kansas City wins the game.
With Carrington Harrison.
Back-to-back best sports talk hosts as voted on in the Pitch magazine.
Live from the Fan Studios. Here's CDOT.
Let's do this. Another day, another dollar, another edition of The Drive. You were listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington Harrison. Really excited to be here with you on this wonderful, wonderful Tuesday. We have a lot to get into in today's show. I would consider today's show to be a special show. Coming up in exactly 1 hour, Josh Vernier will join us on the show. Now that we are past the NFL draft and we are kind of heading towards the period where the Royals are going to take center stage more times than not, Vern is going to start joining us twice a week on the show. He will be on the show on Tuesdays and Fridays. So really excited to have Josh Vernier join the show coming up in an hour or so. The Royals are celebrating the 2015 World Series team this weekend on Saturday against the St. Louis Cardinals. We are going to have Eric Hosmer join us on the show coming up today at 5 o'clock. So we are going to hear from the future Royals Hall of Fame first baseman Eric Hosmer will be on the show coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. We got a lot to talk about in today's show. We'll talk about conspiracy theories. I believe that the NFL should have a draft lottery. There are a lot of things for us to discuss. And I was reading something earlier today about the Chiefs and their wide receiver room, and I had never thought about it from this perspective before. We'll talk about that at some point in today's show as well. But before we do any of that, I need you guys to do me a couple of favors. Number one, I need you listening to The Drive each day at 2 o'clock right here on 96.5 The Fan. And number two, I need you to tell one friend. I mean, it'd be great if you could tell two friends to check out the show, but you know what? Beggars won't be choosers. And if you could just tell one person to check out the show, you know what? I would greatly appreciate it if you did that. All right, let's split up the lead today, and let's give you a little bit of Royals, and let's give you a little bit of Chiefs, and we are learning a little bit more about their schedule. Rob, yesterday, what the Royals did offensively is exactly what we have been talking about with this team. If the Royals are going to score runs like they did yesterday and get the contribution from the top of the lineup, and we'll talk more about that, this is just a really, really difficult team to beat. Yesterday, the Royals scored 7 runs. You got 5 RBIs from your 1, 2, and 3 hitter. Jonathan India was a great table setter. Bobby Wood Jr. is one of the greatest baseball players in the league right now. You got a contribution from Vinny Pasquantino. As long as you continue to get the top of your lineup and that big 3 that Vern always talks about, and they're going to be consistent run producers, it's just really, really difficult to beat this team. We gave you the stat yesterday, and we have more on those numbers and what that means for the Royals and what it also means for the other teams in the American League Central. But, Rob, before we kind of talk about the Chiefs, and now we know at least another game on their schedule, yesterday is what we were talking about with this Royals team. When the Royals offense comes to the party and they can score runs and they have an early inning where they really put pressure on the opposition, they're just a really, really difficult team to beat. You saw that yesterday. They scored 7 runs on the road against the Houston Astros. They won yesterday's game against Houston.
Now, do I think that offense is sustainable? Not the way their lineup's constructed. I think that's a little bit of a drop in the bucket and not the norm. But it's always nice to see. I mean, I remember last night I got home, I was doing stuff around the house. I'm like, I'll throw the Royals game on. It was in the 3rd inning. It was already 4-0. They had hit the magic number. We gave the stat yesterday. When they get to 4, they are, 15, now 16-1. It was the 2nd inning. It was 4-1. It felt like, no way the Astros catch up, and the Royals kept piling on to get to 7 runs. Now, again, I don't think that's the norm. I don't think they busted out of their slump, and watch out, here comes one of the best offenses in baseball. But when this Royals team gets to 4+ runs, they are one of the most formidable teams in baseball. Last night showed that. You had your big guys hitting well. You are a very difficult team to beat, even when your pitching and bullpen are so-so, when you are scoring runs like that in baseball.
So yesterday, the Royals take care of business and they beat the Houston Astros. They need to win one of these next 2 games against Houston to win the series. It would be certainly nice to beat a team that has been one of the better teams in Major League Baseball over the last handful of seasons or so. Go on the road and win a series against them. We'll see if they can do that in one of these next two games. They also have the St. Louis Cardinals coming into town this weekend in a what should be a very fun weekend series, as the Royals are celebrating the 1985 World Series team, the 2015 World Series team, and also this year's team that is off to one of the better starts in baseball. Now, I think you guys know that I am on your side more times than not. Now, sometimes you guys are wrong. Sometimes I'm wrong. That's the way that this relationship works. And trust me, you guys let me know on the text line. Anytime you tell me I'm wrong, there is an entire promo about me being wrong about the Missouri Tigers. I understand the checks and balances that go into this. I also understand you not wanting the Chiefs to play on a holiday. Hey, this is a religious day. This is a family day. I don't want to take time away from my family to watch football. I certainly get and understand that. But what I would push back on, at least for this upcoming season, I think it actually makes a lot of sense for the Chiefs. I think it also makes sense for the league this year, at least in the nighttime. They already play Thursday night football. This is not the same conversation as last year. Last year, they were adding and moving around games. They're not really doing that in the instance of the Kansas City Chiefs. This is regular Thursday night football. So this is a part of the schedule and a part of the routine that the Chiefs and the league already have. This is a Thursday night game on Amazon Prime, something, again, that we are all very used to. And now I understand that people have different traditions when it comes to Christmas or Hanukkah and that time of the year, and I certainly don't want to be disrespectful to that. But a lot of people by that time in the day have already done a lot of their Christmas things. You did the Christmas morning with the kids. You had breakfast. You maybe went to church, or you went to mass, or you went to whatever your religion is. You did some of the family stuff, had your dinner earlier in the day, and then at night, you're kind of hanging out. You're kind of relaxing. You've got the free time in the evening as the day is winding down. A majority of people are also probably going to take that Friday off. We all know that time in between Christmas and New Year's Eve, nobody is really doing a lot of work during that time. That's one of the least productive times in the American and world calendar during those days. I don't have a problem with them playing on Christmas this year. I had a problem with them playing on Christmas last year. They played on a Wednesday during the middle of the day. That's not how the NFL calendar works. That's not how the schedule works. That's not what the NFL is doing with the Chiefs this year. You got a divisional matchup on Christmas night that early in the day, you can do all of your family stuff. You start to head out there around 4 or 5 o'clock for those of you that are not big into tailgating. And some people are just going to make this part of their Christmas Day celebration, and they're just going to spend the time with their family out there. We already know the ratings are going to be there. This should be a game that means something. The Broncos made the postseason last year. The Chiefs are the best team in the AFC. This is the game that we think and are projecting to have great importance on the AFC West conversation and playoff seeding. I think it makes a lot of sense for Amazon. I also understand why the Chiefs want to be a part of this day. It's cool to go to these games. I've been to a Chiefs game on Christmas. Now, I haven't been to one of these that didn't fall on a regular time, but sometimes Christmas falls on a Sunday and just, hey, everybody's got to work. This is when we usually play these kind of games. For those of you that remember, the Chiefs were the first team to play that late night game on Thanksgiving. So we've always had the Cowboys and we've also had the Lions. And then the NFL introduced that third game. Well, that first game was at Arrowhead. The Chiefs played the Broncos in that game. I was at that game. It was a lot of fun. It was pretty cool to see the Chiefs play on Thanksgiving because Thanksgiving is such an important part of the NFL schedule. I actually think this is pretty cool. I'm guessing this is going to be one of the more popular games that they have this year. This is a really cool Christmas gift to get somebody. Hey, what'd you get Jim for Christmas? Hey, we're going to the Chiefs game later today, the Chiefs and the Broncos, two story rivals, what we expect to be two good teams. The Broncos usually play the Chiefs very, very tough. I don't have a problem this season with the NFL playing on Thursday because they usually play on Thursday, and with the Chiefs playing on Christmas, playing on that Amazon Thursday night football game. I mean, they were going to have that game regardless. It's a regular Thursday, and trust me, Amazon is not – they have spent a lot of money to broadcast Thursday night football. I just don't think this was something that you were going to get out of. And I understand that this won't be for everybody. Maybe you got to go out of town. Maybe you got stuff on that Christmas night and you just can't keep up with it. I completely get it. To me, this isn't the one to complain about. The one on Friday to kick off the season where now you're going to miss your kids, that's completely different to me. And that is them manipulating the schedule. I don't think the Chiefs or the league manipulated the schedule of this one. I think this one is inbounds. Coming up on the other side, speaking of manipulating something, I'm not saying the NBA lottery is fixed, but if you think that it is, it's really difficult to argue that based on what we saw yesterday. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison
This man was a bona fide scrub.
on 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Hi, Mia here at the winnings desk of the Missouri Lottery. So, I wanted to write a thank you note for every dollar Missouri Lottery players have given to Missouri and education. But that would be 8.4 billion notes. So to save a little time and a whole lot of paper, here's just one. Dear every single lottery player in Missouri, thank you for helping us give $8.4 billion to Missouri and education. Sorry, my trumpet's in the shop. The Missouri Lottery. Winners welcome and play responsibly.
Cosentino's food stores are celebrating 77 years of serving Kansas City. Come in today for incredible anniversary savings across the store. You'll find some of the hottest prices of the year, now through May 20th only. From fresh produce to family favorites, don't miss the unbeatable prices at every Cosentino's location. For 77 years, it's been our family's honor to serve yours, and we're just getting started.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FRESH to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
Guys, don't waste your time and money with low-quality online TRT that charges you over $100 just to start. Visit our TRT experts today at the Low T Center for a free consultation and free test. Treatment is personalized to your body, and most major insurance is accepted with the freedom to choose if you want in-center care or at-home treatment. You're in control of your health. Looking to lose weight? Get a free B12 shot when you start your prescription treatment. Offer limited. Look now at fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com.
What? All the budget has to be used now? And we can use all the media buy?
Javier's marketing firm just got its dream funding.
Okay, ideas. Bobbleheads. No. T-shirt cannon. I seriously need some help here.
He needs to find marketing managers who are worth every dollar.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Sponsoring a job on Indeed gives it a visibility boost, so you can hire faster. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Were you uninvited to game night? Do you play board games with the ferocious intensity of an iron-fisted oligarch? Have friends left game night asking, how do you sleep at night? Then you should get a mattress from Mattress Firm. They can help anyone sleep. There's still time. Come to Mattress Firm's Memorial Day sale. Get here soon and save up to $500 on Tempur-Pedic and get a $300 instant gift. Get matched at Mattress Firm. Sleep at night. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
DQ presents How to Hit Summer's Sweet Spot. The new DQ Summer Blizzard Treat menu is here, and as the official treat of MLB, we're swinging big with our fan favorite S'mores Blizzard Treat. Plus, new mixing bowl mashup with brownie batter and chocolate chip cookie dough, and even more in our Stack Summer lineup. Hurry in today because nothing says summer like baseball and our new Summer Blizzard Treat menu. Right now at DQ. Happy tastes good. Participation may vary. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
I'm Emma Greed, and I've spent the last 20 years building, running, and investing in some incredible businesses. The more success I've had, the more people started coming to me with questions. How do you start a business? How do you raise money? How do I bounce back from failure? On my new podcast, Aspire with Emma Greed, I'll be answering these questions and more through weekly conversations with the smartest minds out there. Listen to and follow Aspire with Emma Greed, an Odyssey podcast available now, wherever you get your podcasts.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. This is 96.5 The Fan, your home for Chiefs football.
All right. There's a lot to get into in this segment. I'm going to tell you guys about a dream that I have. Not a dream I had. This is a dream that I have. We'll get into that more coming up in a bit. Now, I understand that some of you feel like the NBA lottery is fixed. If you want to make the argument that it's fixed, I can't tell you that you're wrong. Patrick Ewing, the year that they introduce the lottery, is on the board. The Knicks then get the number 1 overall pick. Derrick Rose goes to the Chicago Bulls. LeBron James gets drafted by the Cleveland Cavaliers. After trading Anthony Davis, the New Orleans Pelicans get the number 1 overall pick. Like, if you are on the side that the NBA draft lottery is fixed, I can't tell you that you're wrong. Now, I don't believe that it's fixed. And I could give you examples on the other side. Plenty of examples. Like, wait, if it was fixed, then why didn't this happen? I mean, the Knicks haven't won it since the Patrick Ewing year. There's been plenty of years where there were great players that were out there. Why didn't the Knicks win it that year? It just looks funny. That's it. I mean, I saw every NBA person going out there, and I saw every person out here. Well, no, it can't be fixed. Well, yeah, I mean, I agree with you. That's the logical way to think and logical way to feel about all of this. Vinny Goodwill, who does fantastic work for Yahoo, tweeted this out. I've watched the lottery. I've picked up the ping pong balls myself to see how they're weighed. Not only is draft rigging really hard to do, it's also a federal crime. I don't think the NBA lottery is rigged. But it ain't that hard to come to the conclusion that this year it just feels funny. Luka randomly gets traded. It still doesn't really make sense to me. And the Mavericks still haven't really been able to explain why they traded one of the 5 best players in the league and only made him available to one team. It's not like they shopped him around and took the best offer. And even then, I don't even think they got a great offer from the one team they offered him to. So you get a mysterious trade that no one can explain. That's number 1 of this story. That team then gets the number 1 pick for a prospect that we've been talking about since he was 14 years old and the clear best player in college basketball last season. And they only get the number 1 overall pick because they traded Luka and therefore miss the postseason. You can't see how it's shaky. You can't see how people would give the belief that it's not on the up and up, especially when you don't even do the lottery in front of us. It'd be one thing if they did the lottery right then and there. They got all the ping pong balls, and then you saw the player reach in and then grab it and then read the team. That's not how they do it. They just got an envelope and they just decide to start reading it to you. It just doesn't feel like it's on the up and up. It feels a little shaky to me. So again, I can't tell you that the lottery is not fixed. I wish I could come on here and be like, no, man, you're silly for believing that. I mean, it kind of felt that way yesterday. I mean, the storyline just wrapped up too neat. They've been cooking the general manager for the Dallas Mavericks for months. They've been cooking that man nonstop for 3 months. And now magically you get another superstar franchise player, and now you get a chance to put him with Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis. I mean, you got a chance to be pretty good back in the postseason just next year if this thing works out. It all just seems too convenient. It's all a little bit too fishy. I mean, it's got feather, it waddles, and it quacks. And you're trying to tell me that it's not a duck? I don't know. I've got my suspicions about it. I was talking to Rob about this. Everybody has a sports conspiracy. Everybody has a real conspiracy that they believe. The same way that I believe that everybody has like a crime case that they're just fixated on. Maybe that's OJ for you. I mean, they keep making OJ documentaries. We had a 10-hour documentary, and Netflix was like, wait, there's still some things you don't know about it. I think I know everything I need to know about the OJ Simpson case, but people can't get enough of it. You guys know that's the JonBenet Ramsey case for me. I will watch any documentary on JonBenet Ramsey. I'm happy to talk about any conspiracy theory you have about that case. That's my case. Everybody has their conspiracy that they believe. Maybe you don't believe that we actually landed on the moon. I don't know what your conspiracy is, but we all have them. We all have our sports conspiracies. The Rams are moving to Los Angeles. They just moved to Los Angeles, and then they go to the Super Bowl on one of the most questionable missed calls that we've ever seen before. Sounds suspicious to me. We all got them. Rob, what's yours? Do you have a sports conspiracy? Do you have a real life conspiracy that you believe in?
I mean, sports, you hit on it. The NBA lottery is rigged. It just is. Why is there a veil of secrecy? Why is the deputy commissioner holding up envelopes? Why don't we get to see the ping pong balls? Why is this the system? I don't mind the idea of a lottery. I think the idea of a lottery is great because it prevents tanking in sports, but it just feels like we have too many examples of, oh, that player got gifted to that team. Uh-oh, here we go. Like, Cooper Flagg is the latest in a long run. When LeBron James left Cleveland in the most public way possible, lo and behold, here comes Kyrie Irving to save the day. LeBron James leaves Cleveland again. Don't worry, here comes, they picked, 3 that year for Colin Sexton? Like, it just, the NBA lottery is rigged. I am not a sports are rigged person. This might be the only sports are rigged conspiracy I have. I don't believe the NFL is fixed. I just believe the NBA draft lottery, there's too much weirdness. There's too much secrecy. It's too coincidental. It just feels like, as far as a sports conspiracy theory, that's the one I believe in because they make it hard to not believe in it.
I agree. Have you ever heard somebody tell you a lie? And the reason you knew it was a lie was because their story just was too convenient. Like all of the loose ends, like there were no holes that you could poke in it. That's kind of what it feels like happens with the NBA lottery. You were telling me that there is a once in a lifetime generational prospect that grew up 20 minutes from the team. You were telling me that this player just magically happens to be drafted by the hometown team. That's what you're telling me? Completely random. Okay. That's what you want me to believe. Okay. I mean, I'll believe you. I'll do my best. But it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It just feels suspicious. That's what I'll say. It just has a very suspicious feel.
Why won't they let us watch the system? I feel like so much this disappears if Adam Silver, and I apologize, who the deputy commissioner is, I forget his name offhand, if they would just let us see this transpire. Because if I could see the computer simulation or the ping pong balls or whatever the thing was that happened under the cloak of darkness, if I could see it, I would maybe believe in it more. But the fact he just walks out there with a stack of envelopes and they say, listen, you had a 1.8% chance of winning. Congrats, you win. Well, what transpired behind the scenes? Why can't we see that part? You're right. Yahoo Sports, they gave them an in-depth look once just to say, hey, see, look, it can't be rigged. Why can't me and you, Joe viewers, see that? It would make this disappear.
That's a great question. I don't have a good argument against you. Again, I'm not going to tell you it's not rigged, but I can't tell you that it is either. It just feels very suspicious. That's the word that I'll use. Let me tell you about a dream that I have, and I think a lot of you will appreciate this dream. I grew up in the 90s, so there were like a lot of cool physical activities that I wish I would have had the opportunity to do. There used to be a show. It was called Legends of the Hidden Temple. And if you watched the show Legends of the Hidden Temple, you probably had a dream of going on that show. I wanted to go on the steps of knowledge. I wanted to win a pendant of life. I wanted to run through the temple and put together the shrine of the silver monkey. There used to be another show called Guts. Do you have it? Guts. And you wanted to climb the super aggro crag. You wanted to be the person to go on there and do all of those physical activities. There's one show that predates all of them that I think all of us have dreamed about going on the show. American Gladiators. Incredible show. Now, I didn't want to do all of those events. Like, what's that event where you're basically like a hamster and you're in this big like metal sphere and you got to push it over? It was too much. I didn't really want to do you got to run and get the ball and then you got to try to Barry Sanders juke and you got to try to put it in these tubes and keep running. I didn't want to do all of that. I didn't want to do the joust. I didn't want to do the eliminator. I didn't want to do any of those things. But you know what I did want to do? Assault. You guys remember Assault? They would have the one gladiator stand up on this podium and he would have this like tennis ball machine gun turret. And you would like run around this little obstacle course and you would try to hit this big target. So you got Blaze or Laser or Gemini or whatever their names were, and they'd be out there pop, 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 just trying to hit you with the tennis balls, and you had to kind of maneuver like a ninja to try to avoid this. I'm telling you guys right now that I am trying out for American Gladiators because they're bringing the show back. I don't know how many times they've tried to bring back American Gladiators. I don't care. I will watch it every single time. I just enjoy the show. We all have those kind of guilty pleasure shows. Maybe yours is Food Network. You like Chopped. Your wife likes Say Yes to the Dress. I really like Bar Rescue. It's something about watching John Taffer yell at these restaurant workers and then build them back up and turn their bar into this magnificent sports bar that I really appreciate. I love Pawn Stars. I love somebody goes in there and they have this book and then he tells us more about the book and then we learn how much the book is worth. I love that. American Gladiators is one of those shows for me. We don't know what channel it's going to be on, but we do know that The Miz, for those of you that watch wrestling, The Miz, he's going to be hosting this show. I'm telling you right now that I want to try out for American Gladiators. I don't care about doing any of the other activities. I don't want to do the joust. It looks like it hurts. I don't want to do any of those. Remember the one where they had to like try to score a touchdown, then they had to wrestle each other? I don't want to do any of that. I just want to do assault. We have enough escape rooms in the world. We don't need you to build anymore. You know what we need? You need to create a place where we can go and live out all of our 90s dreams. Somebody create the temple from Legends of the Hidden Temple, and people like me can run through it and live our 90s dreams. Create Assault so we can play Assault in real time. That's an experience I'll pay for. I just wanted to tell you guys my dream. We're all allowed to have dreams. This is one of my dreams. I can't go on American Ninja Warrior. You know how strong your upper body has to be to go on that show? I just want to go on American Gladiators, and I want to do the game Assault. That's it. That's all I want to do. That's a bucket list item for me to be able to participate in Assault. I think I'd be very, very good at it. It looks like a very fun time.
So I know that they do this with Family Feud and with Price is Right. They have like these like, you can enter to win, and you have a chance to, go to Kansas City. They have like these little pop-ups at convention centers. If you do well enough, they send you on the show. Like, I know people who have done Price is Right. I know people who have done Family Feud. Do they have these sort of events where you can sign up and sign up and see if you can make it on American Gladiator? And if so, we have to get you to do it. It was never a dream of mine because I didn't want to have my ass whooped by Gemini. That just felt like it was a first-class trip to being in hurt.
Yeah, I agree.
It never seemed like it would move me. Legends of the Hidden Temple, 100%. Double Dare as a kid. Sign me up. I would have been all in on that. What was the one that had the aggro crag?
Guts, yeah.
Guts. I would have done Guts. American Gladiator felt like that roid monster is going to destroy me in ways that I don't want to deal with ever again. But if they have a sign up, if they have a audition, if they have any sort of process for you to get on it, I'm going to find out and we're going to get you signed up.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I love that you're dedicated to this the same way that I'm dedicated to this, that I would like to see this happen. I'd like to tell you the other game shows that I'd be very interested in going on. I would also go on to Wheel of Fortune. I'd be very interested in doing that. I'd be interested in going on Family Feud. It's not like a bucket list item for me, but if I had the chance to go on Family Feud, I would obviously go on Family Feud. I want to tell you the show, and I don't know if I've ever said this before, the show that I really wanted to go on. Do you remember that show called Supermarket Sweep?
Oh, I love Supermarket Sweep.
Supermarket Sweep was amazing. Somebody would drop you off in the middle of a grocery store. I was a kid. I don't know why this show even appealed to me as a kid, but even back then, I love it. So they would play little trivia games based on foods. Like you had to guess the cereal or guess the soda or whatever it was. They would play like a little trivia round. And for every answer you got right, you would get more time on your little shopping spree. And then at the end, Team A would have 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Team B would have 2:50. Team C would have 3 minutes. And you would get to run around this grocery store and just throw a bunch of stuff in your basket. As a kid, I don't know why this appealed to me so much. I just loved the rush. They'd be running around and they'd be buying all these diapers. And then they would go to the meat aisle and they would get like 7 turkeys and 5 rump roasts and 6 racks of ribs. I don't know why you need all this meat, but they would just go get it. I want to go on Family Feud just so I can do the Supermarket Sweep. That's what I want to go on Supermarket Sweep. That's it. I want to run around and I want to throw all the stuff in the thing, and then I want them to give me my total at the end of it. Those are my 2 dreams. I don't have many television dreams.
Didn't they bring back Supermarket Sweep one summer?
They need to bring it back.
I remember Leslie Jones hosted it, and it just didn't have the same feel. It didn't have the same energy. Supermarket Sweep was awesome. The text line wants Pros vs. Joe's back. Pros vs. Joe's was fun to watch, but I have no interest in ever being on.
That wasn't my show.
It was fun because you had some guy, talking big, like, oh, I could play running back for the Chiefs, watch out. And then he would just get absolutely massacred out there by Donnie Edwards or some retired linebacker. And that was enjoyable television, but actually signing up to be on Pros versus Joes? No, thank you. Hard pass.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you. I'm happy to share just a couple of the ideas that, that's what I wanted to do. Someone on the text line said, I always wonder why they just didn't run down each aisle with their hand out, dumping everything in. I also have the exact same question. I assume that was in the rules that you couldn't do that. But it seemed like something that you should do. It seemed like a great way to just win. Someone said, what about Press Your Luck? Now, I never had the dream of being on Press Your Luck. Not my show. Not my show. I'm sure you guys had that show. You know another show I used to really like, and we'll get back to sports here in a little bit? The Weakest Link. I really enjoyed The Weakest Link. I liked the whole strategy of when you were going to bank and when you were going to roll the dice to try to get more money for your team. I liked the fact that the host was kind of mean to you for a little bit and would make you feel bad about not performing well. I liked the whole strategy of who you were going to vote for at the end. I loved Weakest Link. I'd be cool with going on Weakest Link. That'd probably be in my top 5 shows I like to go on. Weakest Link.
Were you ever a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire person? I feel like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, Weakest Link are in the same ballpark. They're in the same hemisphere as far as show. I would go on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I don't think I'd make a lot of money, but I would go on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
That was kind of one of those shows that it kind of failed. Like once I saw somebody get the million,
yeah.
It just wasn't as appealing anymore. Because for a while there, you remember, you were thinking, hey, I don't know if you can win this. It's kind of hard. You got to be real smart to do it. And when the guy finally won it, it was like, oh, man, this is incredible. That was kind of it. Somebody said, test your relationship and go on The Amazing Race. No, thanks. No, thanks. I'm okay. Someone said Deal or No Deal is the show I'd love to go on. They actually have a slot machine where you can play Deal or No Deal. You can put the money in and you can just skip right to the bonus. I've actually played that before in
Deal
Vegas.
or No Deal takes no skill. It's all luck. 100% luck.
I'm just telling you what the text line said.
I'm
That's
not
what they
saying
said.
I'm not disagreeing. The text line wants to play that game, but there's no strategy to it. Hey, I'm going to pick case 5. Hey, open case 3. Uh-oh, now I'm getting a deal. You don't know what's in your case.
Yeah, no, there's
blind
no skill.
luck.
No, there is
The real luck would be picking the case that has the future queen on it. That'd be the real luck.
That would be the one. Let me get Meghan Markle. What's you, 17? Yeah, come here. You know what? I don't even want the money. Just come here. Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. All right, let's get back to very serious sports things, kinda. The Bill Belichick story is progressing. We are learning more and more about Bill Belichick and his relationship with Jordan Hudson. Here is the latest from Pablo Torre, formerly of ESPN.
On June 1st, the buyout of Bill Belichick goes from $10 million to $1 million if Bill wanted the escape hatch, right? So if he wanted out, suddenly it was very interesting that the amount got 10 times less after June 1st. And so the question everybody is asking is, are things so dysfunctional behind the scenes when it comes to the power struggle, when it comes to what they are telling Bill to do? Don't have Jordan around anymore. Stop behaving in the way that you have. Basically telling him for the first time, really, right, that you're an employee and not the boss of this building in the way that he may have been assuming he would be. Then there is the ability for him to get out of it. And that's before you even consider the fact that stuff is so crazy when it comes to how his family feels, how the people around the school feel, that there's this larger, hey, so Coach met this woman when she was 19 years old on an airplane, and now she's kind of running his public image as his girlfriend. Is this something that's sustainable? Right? Is that fireable? What does he have to do to get fired? These are all active question.
I'm telling you guys right now, I want you to make a mental note of this. The buyout goes from $10 million to $1 million in 3 weeks. I believe we are going to get a story. We are going to get a tweet that North Carolina is getting the money together to buy out Bill Belichick's contract. I know $1 million is a lot of money. It's not at a major university. It's not even close, especially if they want to get something done. If the power structure and the money people at North Carolina are tired of her, they will get rid of him for $1 million to get rid of her. So I don't know how this story is going to play itself out. I have my guess. I have my suspicions on what I think. And it doesn't sound like the noise is going anywhere. Bill just sat down with SportsCenter today to talk about this issue. So they know that it is a problem. She just did a beauty pageant a couple of days ago. So they still continue to be in the news. We still continue to talk about them. She's still front and center. We still got a long way to go until they start playing college football. $1 million buyout on June 1. It goes from 10 to 1. They'll just wait a couple of weeks, and if they want to get rid of you for $1 million, trust me, they will get rid of you at any major university. That's just not a lot of money. That's calling 1, maybe 2 people. We need to get this done. We appreciate your donation to the University of North Carolina. Hey, why don't you hang out with Michael Jordan for the day and go play golf? That's what you get for your $1 million. If they want you out of there, you will be out of there as the head coach. Coming up in about 20 minutes, we'll be joined by Josh Vernier, our Royals insider, to talk about the Royals and their win yesterday against the Houston Astros. Keep it right here. It's The Drive on 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's Lucas Ursig from the Kansas City Royals. You're listening to The Drive with CDOT on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This summer, Casey's has 89-cent fountain and frozen drinks. But if you don't have 89 cents, you could check your center console, or dig between your couch cushions, or ask Grandma for $1, or just use your credit card. We take those too. 89-cent frozen and fountain drinks at Casey's, all summer long. Restrictions may apply. See store for details.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion, or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Honey, it's me, your wife. Spring is here, and our house desperately needs the experts at Powell Exteriors Casey for siding, windows, entry doors, beautiful decks, patio covers, roofs, and more. Get ready for summer at powellcasey.com.
I've had a number of surgeries, and frankly, I don't have time to rehab a surgery and an operation at this point in my life. I didn't want to take time off my kids' activities.
That's why former college and pro football player Bobby Carpenter turned to QC Kinetics. We couldn't be happier saving our patients like him from operating rooms and long recoveries.
They will resume like normal activity for me, which is a lot of running. It's a lot of workouts. I've been very, very blessed with how it's been able to hold up.
For so long, patients have accepted surgery as the only solution. But with new technologies, the medical professionals at QC Kinetics use regenerative treatments, your body's own biologics, to help heal and restore knees, hips, shoulders, and backs.
I actually ran into a friend of mine over at our golf course, and he had his knee done. It felt so well. He'd got his shoulder done. He goes, I can't thank you enough. He'd heard the commercial on the air, and so it's feeling great.
Find out how you can avoid surgery and finally get relief. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
As you prepare for your Memorial Day gathering, be sure to visit your local grocery store for Gates Sauces and Seasonings. Both are great on meats, fish, chicken, broccoli, and spinach, as well as hot buttered popcorn, a topping for your dips, or sprinkle Gates seasoning on chips and nuts to add that extra flavor pop. And nothing says Memorial Day like a Gates party tray. Or use Gates Sauces and Seasonings to spice up your home-cooked meal. So head to Gates Barbecue this Memorial Day. Gates Barbecue. Thanks with love.
Harris, Kansas City is giving away $150,000 in guaranteed prizes Saturday, June 28th to celebrate Mid-Year's Eve. One lucky guest will walk away with $50,000 in cold, hard cash at midnight. Plus, leading up to the big finale, you can win up to $2,500 in free play every 15 minutes. The best part? You can earn extra entries into the big drawing from now until June 28th. Don't miss the hottest celebration of the summer, only at Harris, Kansas City. 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Here is your Game of the Week, presented by Hyundai. After leading their first-round playoff series 2-0, Winnipeg allowed St. Louis to make a run for the series. With an absolutely electric Game 7, Winnipeg was able to secure the series with a double overtime win at home. Now the Central Winners battle is a series against their divisional foes in Dallas, who will be able to clinch the series and advance to the Western Conference Finals. Don't let the urge to sing along to that catchy tune distract you from the truck drifting towards your lane or that lane-splitting biker creeping up beside you. Fortunately, every Hyundai offers available class-exclusive advanced safety features that can alert you to potential dangers around you. And Hyundai has over 130 IIHS Top Safety Awards since 2006 because Hyundai's always working to ensure the road doesn't get you. IIHS Top Safety Awards include Top Safety Pick and Top Safety Pick Plus Awards to Hyundai vehicles from 2006 to 2025.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-599-8811. That's 800-599-8811. Again, that's 800-599-8811. 8811.
This afternoon, expect a sunny day with a high of 84.
Weather brought to you by Robert Half. Our recruiters' expertise and award-winning AI will find you the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
All right, welcome back into the show. Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll catch up with Josh Vernier, and we'll talk a little bit about the Kansas City Royals as they won their game yesterday against the Houston Astros, 7-5. Let's talk about one of the top stories right now in the National Football League, and it centers around the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, the Bengals are in a little bit of a difficult spot. Now, excuse me, some of this comes from they didn't handle this on the front end. It always costs to wait. If you were going to wait to get a deal done, it is usually going to cost you more money. The Bengals let 3 very important contracts all kind of expire around the same time. They had Jamar Chase's deal, they had T. Higgins' contract, and they also had Trey Hendrickson's contract all available at the same time. Now, they have done right by 2 of those 3 individuals. They took care of Jamar Chase. They should. I think he's the second best wide receiver in the National Football League behind Justin Jefferson. They took care of T. Higgins, I think largely because he's on the offensive side of the ball, helps out Joe Burrow. He and Jamar Chase have the same agent, so it's just easier deal to kind of make. And now they've left arguably their best defensive player kind of out in the cold, and now he is trying to figure out how to make the money work. They essentially haven't communicated with him and seem to be a little bit stuck in no man's land. So earlier today, Trey Hendrickson sat down and met with the media. He said that he received a text from the head coach 30 days before mandatory minicamp and said that he'd be fined if he didn't show up. This is after they have made no communication with you and really haven't tried to get your contract figured out. Now, he has made it pretty clear, I will not play this season under my final contract. So we are now in a major game of chicken. Are the Bengals going to pay him what the market says that he's worth, or are they going to trade him? But I think, Rob, as we start this conversation, the Bengals, they have just really, really misplayed all of this back and forth with one of their most important players.
So I think they've misplayed it. I don't want this to come off like I think the Bengals are doing a gangbusters job. But isn't this just what happens in most NFL organizations playing out very real time in a very public manner? Like every NFL team has a hierarchy of who gets their contracts done first. That's just how it works. Let's just use Kansas City for an example. The Chiefs' hierarchy was clear. They made sure Creed Humphrey got done before Trey Smith and Nick Bolton. I imagine if you know that, and I know that, and the NFL fan knows that, in the locker room, all 3 of those guys know that. That guy was more important. He got done first. That's what's happening with the Bengals. It's just happening with 3 players of the highest quality. It's happening with Higgins, Chase, and Hendrickson. It's different in Kansas City. We knew the hierarchy, but it got handled behind closed doors. But I think what's happening with Hendrickson and the Bengals is not all that dissimilar than happens with other organizations. It just got played out in a very public manner because I think the Bengals made the right call. Higgins and Chase are a higher priority than Trey Hendrickson. I'm sorry, that stinks for Trey Hendrickson. I really wish it were different for him and his family, but that's the way it is. They're younger and their contracts are due up faster. I think they get something done, but the very public part is very Bengals that they couldn't get this done. But a hierarchy and people getting in their feelings about a hierarchy is not that dissimilar to other teams in the NFL to me.
Yeah, I would disagree with the Chiefs in that it all played out behind closed doors because in one of their games, their star defensive tackle was sitting in the stands with his agent for one of them. So I would say what the Bengals are going through is kind of common hat, and this is just what happens in the NFL. I think you are seeing now that players, there is going to be this every single offseason. There are about 10 to 15 players that are good enough, that feel like they have the leverage, that they are going to try to use that leverage to push back to go get paid. And I understand that's going to upset some fans, and this is the conversation that we will have from now until the end of time. hey, you signed this contract, you should honor the contract. And I think players have pretty clearly told you, but wait, that only works in one direction. Teams cut players all the time, and no one tells the team, hey, you guys should honor the contract that you signed. I mean, we all suspect at the end of this upcoming season, the Chiefs are going to cut Jawan Taylor. I mean, he's still under contract. They have just reached a point where if they want to, they can just get out of it with minimal financial penalty. No one seems to feel bad when these players get traded or cut. So I think the players that have the little bit of pushback and a little bit of the leverage are trying to go do it. I mean, Trey Hendrickson, he is one of the best pass rushers in the National Football League. And if you're him and you know that this is your last bite of the apple, we're talking about somebody who is 30 years old. We're talking about a player who will be 31 years old at some point during the season. Man, you don't have 3 or 4 more big contracts left for you. You got one big contract left. And if you've done the work and you've gotten 17 and a half sacks in each of the last 2 seasons, and you've been an all-pro, Pro Bowl caliber player, man, now it's time to show me that appreciation. And one of the best ways that our companies show us how they feel about us and how they appreciate the work that we are doing is our salary and what our compensation is. So I certainly understand it. This is going to be my question because the Bengals usually don't blink on a lot of these things. Eventually, Jamar Chase went back to work. Eventually, T. Higgins went back to work. Yes, I was mad about it, but I don't really have a choice in this scenario. Who is going to blink in this scenario? Is it going to be the Bengals, and are they going to pay Trey Hendrickson? Are they serious about implementing all of these fines and racking it up? And on the other side, is Trey willing to stand on business, so to speak? Because there came a point where, hey, Chris Jones was willing to stand on business up to a certain point, and then eventually it was like, hey, I can't do this anymore. The Chiefs never blinked. They never moved. This is what we think you're worth at this time. You can sign up for that, or we can just keep finding you every single day, and you can just stay away for as long as you need to. We'll keep winning games without you. And we saw eventually, it took a little bit of time, but the Chiefs and Chris Jones got on the same page. We'll see if that same thing happens to Trey Hendrickson, but the Bengals just don't have a good track record of this. They're fighting with their first-round pick, and they're fighting with their best defensive player right now. This is an organization that should be in the business of eliminating the noise and trying to get off to a fast start. I would argue that one of the reasons how the Bengals haven't been to a Super Bowl or have missed the playoffs the last couple of years is they routinely get out to slow starts. Well, having your best players healthy, available, and there, that is a big reason and a big part of how you get off to a good start. It seems to me like Cincinnati is about to repeat the same process that usually starts them 2-5 and constantly fighting behind the 8 ball for the entire regular season.
I don't know if that's coaching. I don't know if it's the offseason. I don't know if they're training camp. You know how Mitch Holtz loves to tell us about the value of mini camp, mandatory OTA, all that stuff. I don't know what it is. The Bengals are perpetually behind the 8 ball. And then come week 17, they're one of the most dangerous teams in the NFL that watches at home, and then they whine and complain that the game is rigged and all this. But with Trey Hendrickson, I actually think maybe this is like, it doesn't matter, but it's semantics. I think the Chiefs blinked a little bit with Chris Jones. Because remember, after he sat in the stands, they gave him a adjusted contract to get him more upfront money to get him back on the field. I wonder if the Bengals do eventually the same thing. And then he eventually did get the long-term deal from the team.
Yeah,
so
I actually don't think the Chiefs blinked at all. To me, they gave him the opportunity to make back all the money that you've lost. Hey, you owe us $10 million. We'll give you the chance to earn that $10 million throughout the course of the season by you being on the field, you getting certain incentives, and doing it that way. I actually don't think the Chiefs blinked at all at first. Now, they eventually blinked at the end of the season when they eventually just gave him all the money that he was asking for in the very beginning. I don't think they blinked. Someone on the text line says, CDOT, the owners aren't holding anybody hostage at that point like the player does to the team. It's different. I'm imagining Trey Hendrickson wants to be traded, and they've said no. That is holding him hostage. Now, again, I understand that this is how the business works on both sides, but you guys know my stance on this. Teams are able to do certain things. I don't think you can be mad at players for doing the exact same thing on the other side. They're the ones putting their body up for the danger that comes with playing football. So, hey, if you think you're underpaid in playing football, you can do what all of us can do. Go ask for more money. Now, you are now faced with a decision, and it sounds like Trey Hendrickson is faced with a decision. Your employer has told you, no, we're not giving you more money. And your stance can be, all right, well, I'm not showing up to work then. You can do that if you're willing to take the penalties for it, and eventually it becomes a game of chicken. I mean, we also saw what happened with Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk did this exact same thing a season ago. He eventually got paid. More times than not, teams blink if you are important enough to blink. And we'll see what that means for the Cincinnati Bengals and Trey Hendrickson. But, I mean, it's hard to argue the production. I mean, he's had 35 sacks the last 2 seasons. He is 30 years old and will be 31. He was an all-pro, first-team all-pro last year. He's made the Pro Bowl for 4 consecutive years. He finished second in Defensive Player of the Year voting. I understand why you're now looking at your employer and saying, hey, where's the money at? I've done what I'm supposed to do on the field. It's time to renegotiate the deal that we have between us and go get more money. I understand. Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll be joined by Josh Vernier, our Royals insider. The Royals won yesterday against the Astros. Keep it right here, so drive.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
For the first time in a long time, I'm willing to dream that this can be a special season for the Missouri Tigers.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, KC, it's almost Andy Reid. Renner Garage Door isn't just opening doors this month, they're opening hearts in support of Mental Health Awareness Month. Renner is donating 5% of all sales to Authentic Life Foundation, supporting vital mental health services to those in need. For supporting this cause, you'll get 5% off your project. Call or visit rennerdoor.com, where quality and compassion open doors to a better community.
RENNER, RENNER.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure where to start? Selling a home can feel overwhelming, especially if you're facing foreclosure, a divorce, an inherited property you don't want, or just need to move quickly. But you don't have to figure it out alone. Rex Buys KC is here to help. As a local home buyer, I understand the Kansas City market inside and out. My family and I live right here, so I know the neighborhoods, the trends, and the challenges homeowners face. That's why I take a consultative approach, helping you explore your options and find the best path forward. We buy houses in any condition, no need for repairs, no agent commissions, and no hidden fees. You'll receive a fair cash offer with a closing timeline that works for you. Whether that's in as little as 7 days or at your own pace, just a simple, hassle-free process designed around your needs. If you're ready to talk through your options, call me today at 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Let's find the right solution for you. Rex Buys KC. Local, fair, and focused on you.
Hey, it's Carrington Harrison from The Drive here. Are you feeling tired, maybe a little foggy, or just not like yourself? Well, it could be low T. Symptoms like low energy, poor sleep, and a lack of motivation. They don't have to control your life. And at Heartland Men's Health, they specialize in treating low testosterone and helping men regain their vitality and confidence. With just a simple, quick quiz at heartlandmenshealth.com, you can find out if you're experiencing low T, and then you can book a $100 consultation. They'll run your labs, and within 30 minutes, you'll have your answers. And if you start treatment that day, then the visit is on the house. In just weeks, you'll feel more energy, get better sleep, improve workouts, and have a stronger sex drive. So don't let this hold you back. Pick up the phone. Don't wait. Call 844-447-6600 or visit heartlandmenshealth.com today. Heartland Men's Health has 3 locations to serve you: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City. Reclaim your energy and confidence today.
If the high cost of living is weighing you down, lighten your load at Hy-Vee. This Saturday and Sunday, get a 25-cent per gallon fuel discount with every $50 purchase. Stock up on groceries and stack up the fuel savings. Earn 25 cents per gallon with your $50 purchase, 50 cents per gallon with a $100 purchase, and so on. The more you spend, the more you'll save. Your next fill-up could be free. Don't miss the 2-day Fuel Saver event this Saturday and Sunday, only at Hy-Vee.
Graduation season is always so busy around our house, and when we have important celebrations, we trust Hy-Vee. They're my go-to partner for all of our family celebrations, and Hy-Vee can help you with your graduation party planning. They have party trays, personalized cakes, cookies, floral arrangements, party decor, and so much more. Plus, you can leave all the prep work and messy cleanup to Hy-Vee with full-service catering for any size celebration. Choose from a wide range of menu options to suit your style and your budget, only at Hy-Vee.
Call Aspen Lawn and Pest Control. Our iconic blue trucks and expert team get it right the first time. Award-winning full-service lawn care and pest control since 1985. Call today for a free estimate. Visit aspenlawn.com.
Were you uninvited to game night? Do you play board games with the ferocious intensity of an iron-fisted oligarch? Have friends left game night asking, how do you sleep at night? Then you should get a mattress from Mattress Firm. They can help anyone sleep. There's still time. Come to Mattress Firm's Memorial Day sale. Get here soon and save up to $500 on Tempur-Pedic and get a $300 instant gift. Get matched at Mattress Firm. Sleep at night. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
DQ presents How to Hit Summer's Sweet Spot. The new DQ Summer Blizzard Treat menu is here. And as the official treat of MLB, we're swinging big with our fan favorite S'mores Blizzard Treat. Plus, new mixing bowl mashup with brownie batter and chocolate chip cookie dough. And even more in our stacked summer lineup. Hurry in today because nothing says summer like baseball and our new Summer Blizzard Treat menu. Right now at DQ. Happy tastes good. Participation may vary. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
This report is brought to you by Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka and Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka and Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. Proud partner of the Kansas City Royals. Each can of Surfside is only 100 calories and the best part, 0 bubbles. Grab it at the K or ask for it at your favorite bars and liquor stores.
Kansas City, this is Michael Massey. Listen to the play-by-play all season long with Denny, Jake, Ryan, and Stu right here on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. The Drive. First to breaking news in Kansas City.
This is pretty big breaking news, an exclusive. Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred will remove Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson from the MLB's permanently ineligible list. This would clear a pathway for both players to have consideration for the Baseball Hall of Fame. This has been something that people have debated for quite some time. Now, there is a clear path. Pete Rose is now eligible for the Baseball Hall of Fame. Same thing for Shoeless Joe Jackson. They have been removed from the ban list. Let's go to the phone lines right now and be joined by Josh Vernier and get his thoughts on this. We'll also get his thoughts on the Kansas City Royals, who won yesterday 7-5 over the Houston Astros. Vern, I'm not sure if we ever thought we would see this day when it came to Pete Rose. This was one of those things that we debated for quite some time. Should Pete Rose be in the Hall of Fame? I mean, now that he is passed and now that he is eligible, it seems like a no-brainer to me that Pete Rose is about to be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Well, I would imagine he would need induction via the Veterans Committee, and yeah, they would, I would assume, put him in. It'll be interesting to see how the Hall of Fame handles it, because, of course, the Hall of Fame is a separate entity from Major League Baseball. The rule is they won't induct anybody that's on Major League Baseball's ineligible list. So it's not an automatic. We'll see how they handle Shoeless Joe and the other Black Sox. We'll see how they handle Pete Rose. Maybe it goes right to the Veterans Committee. Maybe the writers never have the opportunity. Yeah, because if the writers do, I still don't think it's a slam dunk that Pete Rose gets in. You know, to me, this is a reflection of what steroids did, right? The steroid era turned the Hall of Fame into a, each individual voter had to make an assessment for themselves of whether or not Barry Bonds and Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, Roger Clemens, Curt Schilling, did these guys cheat the game? Well, in Curt Schilling's case, it's a complete, judgment of his character, right? The character clause. Did you cheat the game? With steroids? Did you cheat the game by gambling? Do you hurt the game with the words that you use, apparently, in Curt Schilling's case? Personally, I'm not a fan of it. If you gamble on the sport, I don't believe you should be eligible for the Hall of Fame. Now, Shoeless Joe has a much better case than Pete Rose does. Shoeless Joe, you look at his numbers from that 1919 World Series, and the guy hit .375. He had a tremendous World Series, while Pete Rose, I mean, get real. No, I don't think he deserves to be honored. Just like I don't think Barry Bonds deserves to be honored. But they could still be in the Hall of Fame. You know, the argument that many make of, oh, it's a museum, and how can you tell the story of baseball without them being inducted? You can still tell the story. You can still have artifacts and talk about what Barry Bonds did. It doesn't mean that you need to honor them with enshrinement, with a day in Cooperstown. Do whatever you want. I don't think Pete Rose deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. He's one of the greatest players of all time, no doubt a Hall of Fame talent, and one of the. If you're picking a team, Pete Rose isn't going to be standing on the sideline very long if you're picking an all-time team. And yet, he made his own bed, man. But apparently, now that he's passed, he no longer has to lie in it.
That's interesting, your feelings towards Pete Rose, and right now we're talking to Josh Vernier. My argument has always been just put it on the plaque. Like, whenever you or if you induct Pete Rose, it should be on there.
Why? Why does he deserve the plaque?
Well, I think he deserves the plaque just based off his baseball career. I think he's one of the greatest players. I don't think what he is accused of or what we know that he's done, I don't think that had an effect on him being the all-time hit king. I just think that, I guess I'm on the side of telling the complete story. I also think that that story is a part of Pete Rose. Hey, he is a player who has more hits than anybody who has ever played baseball. He also was found guilty of betting on baseball. Like, to me, I think that baseball tries to selectively tell you what parts of the story. No, tell us all of the story. I don't think you can make all the money you did off McGwire, Sosa, Bonds, and all of them. And now when it comes
the Hall of Fame didn't. Baseball did. The Hall of Fame is something separate from Major League Baseball. You can tell the story of the steroid era and the Black Sox. You can tell the story of Pete Rose without honoring them. And to me, gambling is the one thing, and I know it's a completely different world in which we live in now in 2025, but that's the one thing that can bring a sport to its knees. If you start to question the legitimacy of it, I like that players are hopefully afraid to bet on baseball because of what happened to Pete Rose. We'll see. We'll see if baseball benefits from putting in Pete Rose or if Cooperstown, if the Hall of Fame benefits from putting Pete Rose in. We'll see if it happens. I don't know who it's for. Pete's gone. Is it for his kids? Is it just so this conversation stops? It seems very 2025 where we're trying to appease. Well, I don't know who we're trying to appease, but it seems to me like it's just the masses, just the vocal masses online. We want to silence them and act as if it's making any real change here.
This is my biggest argument with all of it is it just feels very selective to me. Like, David Ortiz is in the Pro Baseball Hall of Fame, even though he has steroid accusations over him. But now we're not going to let Barry Bonds. We're not going to let Alex Rodriguez. That's my thing to this. If we're going to say, hey, if you have a whiff of impropriety when it comes to steroids,
let them all in?
Yeah, then none of you can get in. Or, well, then we can't pick and choose. Well, we really like David Ortiz. We don't like Barry Bonds, so we're not going to let him in because he was mean to us, but Big Papi was nice to us. That's where I think people kind of feel like baseball is picking this selective kind of morality that I'm just not sure if we as people have the ability to be like, you're bad, but you're good. That's where I think baseball is losing people, at least when it comes to this
we
conversation.
do it every year with the MVP. That's what sports is. It's all subjective. Outside of the trophy at the end of the season to the champions, it's all subjective. We've given the writers this power in the NFL. We've done it in all professional sports. The selective nature, okay. Well, I mean, if your counter argument is, well, if you let one in, let them all in, okay, you can feel that way. You could put McGwire and Sosa. We could throw Manny Ramirez in there, put them all in. I watched them. I enjoyed it. But when I look at the Hall of Fame, man, that's one of my favorite days of the year, end of July. Listen, I'm still going to watch if you induct Barry Bonds, and I watched his entire career. Yes, he's maybe the greatest player I ever saw. So I'm not going to, fall on my sword. I'm not agitated. But to me, the argument of, well, Pudge Rodriguez or, like you mentioned, Big Papi are already in. Well, okay. Yeah, that's unfortunate to some. Kudos to them. But no, I don't want everyone to be able to cut corners and still get your day in the sun when there are others that'll never get that day in the sun that are, Dustin Pedroia. We just saw him at Kauffman Stadium. His career cut short because of injuries. Maybe he'd be in the Hall of Fame if he would have taken steroids. Maybe he would have been able to come back from those injuries. Instead, he fell just short. He was a very good player, a Hall of Fame-esque player, but those injuries and his decision to not cut those corners will never be recognized, at least not on that stage in Cooperstown.
Right now, we're talking to our Royals insider, Josh Vernier. If you guys missed it, the breaking news, Rob Manfred has lifted the ban for Shoeless Joe Jackson and also Pete Rose. Both of them are now eligible for the Baseball Hall of Fame. Let's move to the Royals. I do want to talk about last night's game, but before we do that, we got to talk about 45-year-old left-handed pitcher Rich Hill. He has been assigned to AAA Omaha here. Is there any chance that we see Rich Hill at some point this year? I only ask is because
I hope not.
I'm just happy that every generation gets their old soft-tossing lefty. I'm just happy.
Yeah.
Back for me and you, that guy was Jamie Moyer. You know what I mean? Right. Jamie Moyer played baseball until he was 122 years old. So I'm just happy that there is a chance, there's a possibility that Rich Hill could pitch in a July game for the Kansas City Royals.
Yeah, the Jim Cott and Tommy John and Jamie Moyer. Yeah, it would be cool. It would be his 14th team. C-Dot. There's only 30 in the big leagues. The dude's almost played for half of them. Outside of the fact that he went to the University of Michigan, I have no hope, or not. I hope he doesn't make it to the big leagues. This rotation.
You hating, Vern? Come on now. We can't be hating on Rich Hill.
What do you want? I have no interest in seeing him. Again, this Royals rotation right now, on average, is giving you almost 6 innings every time they take the ball with an ERA of 2.97. I like that. I don't think Rich Hill has any of that left. And if you want to talk about a bullpen option, man, I sure hope there's a better option down in Omaha than Rich Hill, and I know there is. But yeah, best of luck to him, man. It's cool for him. I mean, that's amazing. Kudos to him.
I can't believe we hating on Rich Hill, 45-year-old Rich Hill. This is the kind of stuff
You're
that
going
they
to the
make
game?
movies about.
You're going to the game? Rich Hill going opposite the Chicago White Sox on a Friday night. You're buying a pair of tickets to that game?
No, I'm not buying a pair of tickets. I'll tell you this. We would lead the show with it the next day.
Yeah, because he had to carry him off in a stretcher. His arm fell off. Sure.
I can't believe we're doing this.
Because he got another blister.
I can't believe we're doing this to my guy Rich Hill. All right, let's talk about yesterday's game. I actually think the Royals are very, very simple. It really comes down to, for that individual day, how many runs did they score? Did their offense give you enough? I mean, we have enough evidence at this point. If the Royals offense gives you just enough, and sometimes they give you more than what you need, like they did yesterday where they scored 7 runs. If this offense gives you anything, the Royals are going to win that game 90% of the time.
And since the calendar flipped to May, the Royals' offense has been one of the 10 best in baseball, and I don't think it's any surprise that the turnaround from Vinny and Jonathan India, coinciding with Bobby remaining a stud and Michael Garcia remaining one of the 15 most well-rounded players in the sport right now. Okay, Salvi going through it, dealing with turning 35. Michael Garcia picking him up, and the top 4 in the lineup are doing just enough. Yeah, you mentioned it. The Royals 16-1 this season when they score at least 4 runs. Very reminiscent of that 2014 team. Also reminiscent of that pennant-winning team from just over a decade ago. The Royals are now 18-0 when they lead after 6 innings. So you have some dudes at the back end of the bullpen. You have the best rotation in Major League Baseball. A base running unit that, again, since the calendar flipped to May, has been one of the best in the sport. Bobby statistically is the best base runner in baseball since the calendar flipped to May. Michael Garcia, the second best base runner. So if you're pitching well to start the game, to finish the game, you're defending well, and you're running the bases well, yeah, you don't need much from the offense, and you likely won't need much from the offense to get through the regular season. But, of course, like we saw last year, if you're going to beat good teams, if you're going to beat good pitching in October, you need to execute at a pretty high level or have someone get all sorts of red hot in October. Fortunately, we don't need to really stress about that, think about that, or talk about that for another 4 months.
I feel like yesterday was the formula. Now, obviously, they're not scoring 7 runs a game, but, I mean, the contribution, the bulk of it came from the top half of their lineup. You got 2 RBIs from Witt. You got 2 RBIs from Jonathan India. Vinny Pasquantino chipped in. I mean, if this offense is going to turn things around and get on a little bit of a hot streak, so to speak, that's going to come from those guys who are hitting 1 through 4.
Well, here's the question then. Do you believe that the Vinny Pasquantino that entered the month of May hitting a $177 is who we're going to watch over the final 119 games? Or do you think it's the guy that has hit 321 here in the month of May? Now, Jonathan India, his first 19 games, he had an OPS that was about 150 points below the league average. In the last 19, 20 games, he has an OPS that's 50 points above the league average. Now, the track record of both Vinny and India would say what we've seen here in the month of May is what we should expect more times than not for the final 4 months of the season. So, I think we'll look back on April fondly. Not only because of what the rotation was able to do, carrying an offense a way that I don't think an offense can carry a rotation, but I think we'll also look back on April fondly because of what India and Vinny and Massey showed this clubhouse, the way that guys picked one another up, didn't hang their head when they were having individual or on an individual basis when they were not having a lot of success. They did put the team first. They did show up expecting to win. You know, I talked with Michael Lorenzen recently, and he mentioned how the guys become a family when you go through something like they went through last September and October, going into Baltimore, going into New York, having all those, barbs thrown at them from the fan base, talking about how tight that group became last October. And, man, 43 games into the season, it looks even tighter than that squad. So it bodes well for the next trying time that surely awaits this ball club.
Right now, we're talking to our Royals insider, Josh Vernier, for just a little bit. I understand that we have some time until the deadline, but I at least want to ask you something that we talked about yesterday. I mean, I've seen enough Royals baseball. If you want to go back to last year, we're talking about a 70-game sample size. If you were going from September 1st until we are right now, and the Royals are averaging somewhere around 3.2, 3.3 runs per game. Eventually, I think the Royals are going to have to give up a little bit of their starting pitching to try to help solidify the rest of their lineup and try to go get themselves an outfield bat. Are you looking at it this same way? The way that they are right now, they are a good team. This is a team that is capable of making the postseason, and then with their pitching staff, you never know what can happen. But we're talking about an offense right now that is bottom 5 in Major League Baseball, and that just creates a very clear and defined ceiling on what you can accomplish. I'm not entirely sure if they have all the options right now on their 25-man roster, and I'm thinking at some point they're going to have to go outside and they're going to have to give up something that they really like to go get something that they really, really need, somebody who can hit somewhere between 5th and 8th in their lineup.
Yeah, well, maybe even higher. Maybe you need to go out and find a cleanup hitter. Again, Salvi turned in 35 just a few days ago, and we're already seeing, a hamstring bite him last night. He's dealing with the hip earlier. A lot going on, as you would expect with someone 13 years into a career playing behind the dish. No doubt about it. This team needs to be aggressive at the deadline. We'll need to add a bat. It's easier said than done, especially with the expanded postseason and more teams believing that they're still very much in it. The Royals do have, as of today, quite a few options, right? And I'm not talking solely about the minor leaguers or Noah Cameron, right, the kid that came up and pitched very well in his big league debut, but Seth Lugo is almost certainly going to opt out after this season and become a free agent. Michael Lorenzen will become a free agent at the end of this season. Chris Bubich, after this season, has only one more year of team control. So there are 3 guys right there where JJ can't be wrong, right? Now, if you allow a Lorenzen to leave in free agency, you move him to the bullpen down the stretch, okay. Seth Lugo, that's an interesting decision there. This is a guy that leads Major League Baseball in innings pitched. He's a terrific teammate and an outstanding pitcher. Are you going to bring him back? And if not, can you let him walk for nothing? Can a market like this, can an organization like this lose a talent like that and get nothing in return? You know, you got Jonathan India for Brady Singer. What are you going to do with Chris Bubich? Is that someone that you're interested in signing long term? Is it a good idea to ever sign a starting pitcher in Kansas City long term? Yeah, big questions. Minor leaguers, sure, move them. Who cares? Lugo, Bubich, and Lorenzen, man, that's a long conversation.
That is our guy, Josh Vernier, joining us on the show today. Josh Vernier is now going to join us every Tuesday and Friday at 3 o'clock to talk a little Royals baseball. Vern, I really appreciate your time today, man. I'm happy it worked out today with this breaking news regarding Pete Rose, man. Thanks for popping on.
Yeah,
today.
That was fun. My pleasure. Thank you.
Absolutely. That is our guy, Josh Vernier, joining us on the show today. Speaking of Pete Rose, they have released a statement. Quote, the question of whether an individual should remain on the permanently ineligible list after his death has never been formally addressed by Major League Baseball. Indeed, Mr. Rose is the first person banned by a commissioner other than a person I've never heard of before to die while still on the ineligible list. As such, it is incumbent upon the office of the commissioner to reach a policy regarding this unprecedented issue in the modern era. In my view, once an individual passes away, the purposes of the Rule 21 have been served. Obviously, a person no longer with us cannot represent a threat to the integrity of the game. Moreover, it is hard to conceive of a penalty that has more deterrent effect than one that lasts a lifetime with no reprieve. Therefore, I have concluded that permanent ineligibility ends upon the passing of the disciplined individual, and Mr. Rose will be removed from the permanently ineligible list. I also want to emphasize that it is not part of my authority or responsibility to express any views concerning Pete Rose's consideration by or possible election to the Hall of Fame. I agree with Commissioner Giamatti. That responsibility lies for the decision with the Hall of Fame. So Major League Baseball has come out and given a stance. I actually think that it is a pretty fair stance. Our stance was very clear. It is a lifetime ban on Pete Rose. Pete Rose has since passed away at 81 years old. Well, he's now dead. So the lifetime ban has now served its purpose. We are now removing it from Pete Rose. And if you guys want to make the decision to put Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame, we are not going to stop you one way or the other. I don't think you can really argue that stance too much. They had a position from the very, very beginning. They never wavered on their position. I also think that Pete Rose kind of knew the rules. And the thing that I do agree with Vern in this context, you did something that everybody knows you are not supposed to do in Major League Baseball. You don't get to do that and then still get your day in the sun to celebrate it. That is your penalty. You can still go around to trade shows. You can still do interviews. You can still do all of these other things, but we will not celebrate you because you did this. You knew the game. You knew the risk when you played it. You now have to accept those penalties. I think that Pete Rose has done this. This has been my issue with baseball. This has been my issue with this conversation. I don't think that you can selectively pick your history. I think this is part of your story. And I think that baseball sometimes only wants to tell you the romantic parts of its story. And yes, that's life. There is a lot of good in baseball. There's a lot of good in a lot of different things. But if you really want to tell the story about baseball, you can't just tell it through the lens and the perspective of all the things that were right. You have to tell it through the lens of all the other things. The reason why Jackie Robinson's story is so important is the why. Well, he was the first black player. Well, why does that matter? Well, look what was going on in society at that time. You can't properly tell the story about Jackie Robinson if you also don't want to tell that part of the story on why he matters, why his number is retired, and what makes him so important. Pete Rose is a major part of the history of baseball. So my stance from the beginning has been very, very simple. If you want to tell the Pete Rose story, great, but you have to tell all of the story because all of those things happen. Yes, Pete Rose is Charlie Hustle. Yes, he is one of the greatest baseball players of all time. Yes, he has more hits than any person who has ever played baseball. he also bet on the game. That's part of his story. You cannot hide that. And I know that this is a fight from an older generation, where my generation, and some of you guys too, I don't want to make it sound like this is just young people that are fighting this, is what I think they're doing to the steroid era. It happened. We were there for it. You remember coming home from school and wondering if Sammy Sosa hit a home run and Mark McGwire hit a home run. The reason some of you like baseball is because of Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire. Some of the reason you like baseball is because of those Yankees and Red Sox series, because of going to see Barry Bonds. And now we have just come together to say, well, no, we can't celebrate any of that. You don't get to pick and choose. You don't get to do that. Sammy Sosa happened. Mark McGwire happened. Barry Bonds happened. Alex Rodriguez happened. These were your stars. And to me, you don't only get to stand with them in the good, you also got to stand with them in the bad. And I feel like baseball writers and people who vote on these things, they have just played a very selective morality of, well, we like this person, we don't like this person, we think this person's okay, but we don't think this person's okay, when just I'm in the business of letting all of them in and simply telling their story, because I think their story is very important with baseball. We can get what you guys think about this coming up on the other side. 913-586-7965. If you missed it, Pete Rose is finally eligible for the Baseball Hall of Fame. Vern doesn't think he should get in. I do think he should get in. What do you guys think? We'll also talk about what I think this means in a big picture sense next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison, your home for the best food takes in KC.
Regular old American nachos. You know, I don't need jalapenos with mine, just chips, cheese.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5 The Fan.
Hello, Kansas. Looks like we're in for another heat wave this season with a forecasted high of up to $300,000. That's right. The Kansas Lottery is bringing the heat with the Hot Sevens family of tickets rolling across our state. You could instantly win up to $300,000. Plus, there's even a chance at up to $20,000 in the second chance drawing through Play On. Talk about a scorcher. Don't forget your oven mitts when you head out today. See kslottery.com for details.
Guys, don't waste your time and money with low-quality online TRT that charges you over $100 just to start. Visit our TRT experts today at the Low T Center for a free consultation and free test. Treatment is personalized to your body, and most major insurance is accepted, with the freedom to choose if you want in-center care or at-home treatment. You're in control of your health. Looking to lose weight? Get a free B12 shot when you start your prescription treatment. Offer limited. Look now at fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com.
Hi, this is Toby Tobin along with Jason Goodenkoff from Lewisburg Ford in Lewisburg, Kansas. Hi, Jason.
Hello, Toby.
Holy cow, you've done it again.
We've done it again, Toby. We won the President's Award again this year. This is the 22nd time we've been awarded this awesome honor from Ford Motor Company.
But what is the President's Award?
The President's Award is the top award Ford Motor Company gives its dealers for excellence in customer satisfaction in both sales and service and their sales penetration numbers. So we are super honored to have received this award for the 22nd time.
It covers the whole works at Lewisburg Ford.
Absolutely, and it's a testament to the awesome people we have working at Lewisburg Ford and helping our customers, and it really shows with this award because it's only a few dealers that get it, and we've done it 22 times.
I guarantee you this is the best place to buy a Ford car or truck in the Midwest.
Absolutely. You couple that President's Award lineage with our no-hassle Toby Tobin pricing, it does not get any better than that.
What is your toll-free number?
816-444-2300.
Or LewisburgFord.com.
If you're looking for that new career path, have you thought about IT? Think about IT. It's needed in every single industry, whether it's sports, healthcare, construction, manufacturing, you name it, and Centric can help you get there.
No better time in the city either. KC Tech Council has 3,000 IT jobs open in March alone. 3,000. Centric can train you to do one of those jobs.
We've told you about our friend Russ Mondry and his expertise in this field. Over 16 years at Centric. He's going to help you find that career path. So go to Centric.com.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture with daily use.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's Clean Car Month. Right now, get the Pro X1 Car Care Collection Wash Kit for just $19.99, exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Find what you love and love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, find what you love only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly, B21.
Royals coverage sponsored by Park & Go. The best deals on airport parking.
Step up to the plate and hit a home run with Casey's best airport parking. It's Park & Go. Great service, low price, zero hassle, open 24/7, and all spots are covered. Don't get caught looking. Strike three. Reserve your spot today at bookparkandgo.com.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Got a two-car crash on the Kansas side, westbound 70, exit to 78th Street, stopping traffic. And eastbound 70, right around the exit to Truman, there's a stalled car and traffic slow around that bend coming up to the Truman Road exit. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5, The Fan Traffic.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Hey, it's Lucas Ursig from the Kansas City Royals. You're listening to The Drive with C-Dot on 96.5 The Fan.
Welcome back into the show. We'll get back to football coming up in a bit, but we're talking about the breaking news. If you missed it, Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred is removing Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson from the Major League Baseball permanently ineligible list. This would give them both the opportunity to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. There was a statement that was released from Major League Baseball, and the statement, if I can paraphrase it for you, was pretty simple. We said it was a lifetime ban. It was. He is now passed. We are removing it. And if they get voted in, then they get voted in. But we are not going to issue a statement. We are not for or against. We said it was lifetime. We have upheld what we said we were going to do. And now whatever happens, happens. That is basically the statement that they came out and said. My stance on this is very simple. I would induct Pete Rose into the Pro Baseball Hall of Fame. I would just put it on his plaque as his entire story. Well, in 1989, he was permanently banned from baseball for betting as the manager of the Cincinnati Reds. That is as important to the Pete Rose story as the fact that he has more hits than anybody else to ever play Major League Baseball. And a major problem that I have with Major League Baseball is I think that baseball only wants to tell you part of the story and not the complete story. You cannot tell the story of baseball without including the summer of 1998. And baseball, they used the summer of 1998 to move on from the strike and bring fans into the game and sold and promoted the hell out of Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa. I remember even back then, we kind of laughed and joked about it. What was that drug? It was like androstenedione, I think was the name of it. Maybe I'm wrong. And they found it in Mark McGwire's locker. And I'll never forget this. They asked him, hey, what is this? And he was like, Flintstone vitamins. He was like, ha ha, everybody started laughing about it. Like, I think we all kind of knew, hey, something's kind of funny going on here. But you know what, man? It was fun. It was a great summer. And eventually, whatever happened, happened. And now baseball has completely tried to separate itself from all of those things. I want to play this audio from my guy, Zach Gelb. So Zach Gelb, friend of the show, he got a chance to talk to Alex Rodriguez. Alex Rodriguez is in the process of buying the Minnesota Timberwolves. He's also Alex Rodriguez. So I want to play for you this answer because this should be everybody's answer if you get asked this question. Zach asked Alex Rodriguez, who's the best player you've ever seen play? all of us should have the same answer. Here's A-Rod's answer.
No. The best player I've ever seen is Barry Bonds, like head and shoulders above everyone, almost like Michael Jordan, like just a class of his own. Barry Bonds was so good, it's hard to articulate how good this guy was. He's also baseball royalty with Willie Mays as a godfather and also the great Bobby Bonds as his dad. Barry Bonds is in a class of his own. However, Barry doesn't pitch, and Barry can't throw 100 miles an hour, even though Barry will probably tell you he could. But as far as the most unique, most special player that I've ever seen, it has to be Shohei Ohtani, especially when he's able to, pitch as well, because then that only becomes a class of two, Shohei and Babe Ruth.
I've got a chance to see Shohei play in person. I had a chance to see Barry Bonds play in person. Shohei is amazing. Don't get me wrong. But the best player that any of us have ever seen play baseball is Barry Bonds, and it's not really that close. Now, sure, did Barry Bonds maybe cut some corners? Did Barry Bonds maybe take some? I don't know. I think a lot of guys during this time frame were taking some things that maybe they should or shouldn't have. And I think we know. I mean, it's not that often that you improve as a 35, 36, up to 40 years old the way that Barry Bonds did. I don't think he did all of that off milk and lifting weights. I think he had some kind of enhancements. But again, I think that a lot of players during this time were doing this. This is my biggest issue. If you do just a Google search, you don't even have to do some deep dive research, just a Google search, you will see a story from July 30th of 2009. The story says Manny Ramirez and David Ortiz test positive. This is the headline of the story. Manny Ramirez and David Ortiz were among the 104 major league players who listed as testing positive for performance-enhancing substances in 2003. Lawyers with knowledge of the results tell the New York Times. These are two key players on the Boston Red Sox. You guys remember during that time. This is what I don't like. Can anybody explain to me then why David Ortiz is in the Pro Baseball Hall of Fame? I'm not telling you that David Ortiz shouldn't be in the Pro Baseball Hall of Fame. I would vote for David Ortiz. But if you were telling me that David Ortiz has all of the same suspicions that you feel Barry Bonds has, if he has all of the same suspicions that you think Alex Rodriguez has, if you think he has the same suspicions as all of these other players, can anybody tell me then how David Ortiz got in on the first ballot? To me, you can't pick. Either we're letting in all of the steroid users or we are letting in none of the steroid users, because I think we can now definitively say David Ortiz took something. I don't know what, but David Ortiz took something to enhance his performance. David Ortiz got in on the first ballot. David Ortiz works for Fox, who covers Major League Baseball games. We celebrate David Ortiz, and we should. But I think a lot of our favorite hitters during this time, a lot of our favorite players were doing something, were taking something to hit all of those home runs that they were hitting. I mean, Barry Bonds was a superhero during this time. Like, I don't say that lightly. A superhero during this time. I'd never seen anything like it before. I've been to a lot of Royals games in my life. I can't think of too many times in which the Royals weren't playing the Cardinals, just because there's so many Cardinals fans, etc., where there was such a buzz for an opposing team's player to come up to bat and such a celebration when you saw that player hit a home run. People weren't even mad, just like because you knew you were sitting there and you were watching something special. What I want you guys to do is whenever you get some free time, I want you to go on Pro Baseball Reference and just look at Barry Bonds statistics and just remove the steroids, remove your biases, remove anything you think about Barry Bonds and just look at him and say, how did you do that? In 2001, Barry Bonds hit 73 home runs, had 137 RBIs. He got walked 177 times. He hit 328 and had an on-base percentage of .515. Over half the time he went up to the plate, he got on base. You know how crazy that is? You know how wild that is? Over 51% of the time. We're not even factoring in the fact that in 2004, his on-base percentage was 609. 60% of the time he got on base. He hit 362 at 39 years old. I don't care what kind of steroids you taking. They don't automatically make you that. Because I think a lot of players were taking them. A lot of lesser players. They didn't turn into superheroes the way that Barry Bonds did. He is the answer to this. Let them all in. I've made mistakes. You've made mistakes. I'm not here to play morality police when it comes to these guys. And I don't know in what world baseball writers feel like they are qualified to play morality police when it comes to these guys. Trust me, you have let in far worse individuals than Barry Bonds, who might have taken something to be better at baseball. I mean, we don't have any stories about Barry Bonds hurting anybody, does he? We're not talking about a monster in that case. I just don't have it in me to do that. Tell the full story of Major League Baseball and Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa and Rafael Palmeiro and Curt Schilling and all of these individuals. They are a major part of baseball's history. You can't Men in Black flashy thing that way. The same way you can't do that with Shoeless Joe Jackson. You can't do that also with Pete Rose. Coming up in the 5 o'clock hour, Eric Hosmer is going to call into the show and join us. They are celebrating the 2015 Royals coming up this Saturday at Kauffman Stadium. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison. Watch the show on YouTube by subscribing to the 965 YouTube channel. The Drive, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5, The Fan.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, you know to check you have your phone first, before the cab pulls away.
Hey, thanks, man. No, wait, my phone! Come back! It's my boarding pass, credit cards, phone numbers, my life! Come back!
Checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Cosentino's food stores are celebrating 77 years of serving Kansas City. Come in today for incredible anniversary savings across the store. You'll find some of the hottest prices of the year, now through May 20th only. From fresh produce to family favorites, don't miss the unbeatable prices at every Cosentino's location. For 77 years, it's been our family's honor to serve yours, and we're just getting started.
Hi, Mia here at the winnings desk of the Missouri Lottery. With 56 million winning tickets last year, anyone can win big. So set your destination to winning, like gas stations, grocery stores, or anywhere you can buy a ticket. The Missouri Lottery. Winners welcome and play responsibly.
Call Aspen Lawn and Pest Control. Our iconic blue trucks and expert team get it right the first time. Award-winning full-service lawn care and pest control since 1985. Call today for a free estimate. Visit aspenlawn.com.
The other place with 5 great Kansas City locations: Shawnee, Olathe, downtown Overland Park, Mission, and Belton. With 5 locations, that means you're never too far away from that one-of-a-kind game day experience, plus enough big screens that you'll never miss a second of the action. And if you want some great food, some great beer specials, and beautiful patios, then stop by The Other Place. The perfect place to make your baseball headquarters this spring. The Other Place, Shawnee, Olathe, downtown Overland Park, Mission, and Belton. Your home for baseball this spring.
Having unexpected car trouble or just in a car accident? You need Jay's Southland Tow Service. They have over 20 years of experience servicing the KC Metro. They specialize in light, medium, and heavy duty, as well as commercial transport and construction equipment. Keep this number handy, 816-779-4869 or southlandtow.com. Use the tow service trusted by most local police departments, Jay's Southland Tow Service. There's nothing they can't do, so be in the know and use Jay's Southland Tow.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm, American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's Clean Car Month. Right now, get the Pro X1 Car Care Collection Wash Kit for just $19.99, exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Find what you love and love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, find what you love only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly, B21.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Right lane closed by some emergency vehicles southbound 435 right at Truman Road, where Truman Road joins southbound 435. We've got a truck and a vehicle off to the shoulder, but the right lane closed until those cars can get taken out of the way completely. Stalled out car eastbound 70 to Truman Road right out of the downtown area. Also slowing things down and starting to see some brake lights into downtown northbound 71. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, welcome back into the drive on 96.5 The Fan. My name is Carrington Harrison. Very happy to be here with you guys. A little bit of boxing news. We won't spend a whole lot of time on this, but they originally planned for the Canelo Alvarez-Terrence Crawford fight to be on Friday, September the 12th. They have now made the decision that it will be on a Saturday, so it will be on September 13th. They also have not announced where it's going to be. The plan was that it was supposed to be at Allegiant Stadium. Now, maybe it ends up being at Allegiant Stadium, but they are now saying, well, we don't know yet. We're going to figure out the best deal. Might be in LA, might be in New York, might be in Vegas. Who knows where it is? They are considering sites. I certainly hope that they make an announcement. I mean, I think it's the biggest fight of the year. It also doesn't sound like the plan for it to be on Netflix anymore. It sounds like it will be on pay-per-view. All of it just felt a little bit too good to be true. Maybe the biggest boxing match since Floyd and Pacquiao. They're just going to put it on Netflix. It did feel a little bit too good to be true. So we'll obviously get more information as that fight gets closer and closer, but it has now been moved from the 12th through the 13th. So it will be on a Saturday. We'll just figure out eventually where it is once they officially announce it. Speaking of announcements, let's talk about this. So the NFL is unveiling its international schedule as we are getting ready for the schedule to be released. And today, they announced all of their international games. Now, I don't know why they won't just come out and say that the Chiefs are playing the Chargers on the first Friday of the year on YouTube. I mean, they have announced almost every other piece of the news. Everybody that covers the NFL is telling you who the Chargers are going to play, but the NFL in all their infinite wisdom has just decided, wait, we're going to hold off on that information. I mean, I guess, all right, but I think we all kind of know there's not going to be a surprise when they announce that the Chiefs and Chargers are playing on September 5th in Brazil. They did something really interesting, though, something that they have never done before. The same way that I tell you guys, they are trying out the streaming right in front of us. They have been doing this now for 3 years. Like most companies, they try to see how far they can push it. It starts with this thing, and then, wait, this really worked. Now we can do it a little bit more. They've been inching closer and closer. So I believe it was last year, maybe I'm off. They made the decision to have a NFL team stay overseas in back-to-back weeks. So not just go over to London, play your game, and then fly right back. No, you're going to go through a normal week overseas. So you play your game, you stay over there, you play another game, and then come home. I think they're picking up valuable information. Now, what they are doing is they're asking Minnesota to go over to Dublin, play a game in Ireland. They will then travel to London to play another game the next Sunday. So Minnesota not only has to play 2 back-to-back international games, they are then traveling internationally to both of the games. The league is really, really trying to see how viable it is for them to put a team over there. I don't really know how you can take this any other way than that's what they're doing. What other reason would you have to ask a team to not only go internationally and play in one country, they're then going to pack up all of their stuff and then fly to another country to play another international game? What reasoning would you have to ask them to do this if you're not continuing to gather data and continuing to gather information to eventually use it for what your big plan is? I think it's pretty clear at some point they are giving an international game the Super Bowl. I think it's very, very obvious that's what they're building towards. They continue to expand and expand and expand. They have 7 international games this year. They have one team that's going around the country now, around the world to play these games. The only other possible conclusion you can come to is eventually the plan is going to be, well, let's give London the Super Bowl. Our game has become so international that there is a demand for us to put this game over here. That's my big takeaway from it. Now, I don't know from a time difference standpoint how they would make it work and how it would be televised here in the United States. I don't know how that will work. But all of this international mission, I think it just has to lead to something. And as they are continuing to grow the game leaps and bounds around the world, I mean, the fastest way to do that would be to give them the most important game that you can give them. I mean, that's the most important game. You can't give them a playoff game. You're not taking away a home playoff game from somebody. There's only one playoff game that's played at a neutral site. There's only one playoff game that would make sense for you to play it in London. It's that one. I think that's the direction that we're headed towards. Maybe I'm off in this, but their international mission can only continues to grow and grow. They're giving more countries, more games, more teams, more days, more television networks. I think eventually they just give London the Super Bowl, and that's what all of this is leading towards, to seeing if it can work logistically. How would travel work? How would you get over there? I think they are doing nothing but gathering information to eventually give them the Super Bowl.
But much how we've talked about on the show, ad nauseum with the NFL's greed and their, always wanting more. Let's say you're right. Let's say they are trying to put the Super Bowl in London. Let's say they do it, just for the hypothetical. Wouldn't that then open the door for the NFL to be having it in Madrid? They have a game in Madrid this year. In Munich or in Berlin. They got games in Germany this year. Would they put a Super Bowl in Dublin? It feels like if the NFL puts a Super Bowl in London as a trial balloon and it is a success, then suddenly New Orleans, Miami, Vegas, LA, whatever cities in America will now be competing with those cities every year for the Super Bowl. Because if I am the NFL and it's a roaring success in London, why wouldn't I put it in Madrid? Madrid's fantastic, the same way London's fantastic. Oh, we have a huge market of NFL fans in Munich. I'll put a Super Bowl in Munich. It feels like, if you're right, it's a slippery slope to it being a one in, one out Super Bowl. One in the United States, one out. Because why would they keep putting more games in more cities to not just have the Super Bowl in more cities?
Text line 913-586-7965. CDOT, the travel isn't that bad. This is like traveling from Kansas City to Chicago. That's not extreme by any means. I think what's different about this is when the Chiefs go play the Bears, they then come back home after the game. That's why I think this is different. The Chiefs play the Bears on the road. They play them Sunday at noon. Well, Patrick Mahomes is back home with his family by 9 o'clock. We're now asking teams to, hey, fly from Kansas City to Chicago, stay in Chicago the entire week, and then we'll fly you to Jacksonville to go play your game before you go home. Why are we asking NFL players to do this? The NFL, they will push and push and push and figure out how far the line is. And the players, I think we just seen time and time again that they just don't really push back on these things. What do you want us to do? You want us to play Friday in Brazil? Sure, we'll do it. You want us to play Thursday night football? You want to flex Thursday night football? Sure. You want us to work Wednesdays for Christmas now? Yeah, we'll do it. I don't really know what the pushback is from the players in all of these things. I think that all of this international, it just has to be building for something other than, well, we want more money. The NFL just doesn't do things just to do them. There normally is a plan. This started with 1 international game. Now it has gone up to 7. Now it has gone to some teams stay over there for 2 weeks. Now teams are traveling now internationally between cities and now doing it that way. They are either preparing to put a team over there and figuring out if it will work and how it will work logistically and if players like staying over there, or they're building towards giving them the Super Bowl. There are not many other options of what I think they are potentially building towards. There's some news in the NBA. Jason Tatum, he has just undergone surgery to repair a torn right Achilles. So we thought yesterday that something very serious happened to Jason Tatum. It has now been confirmed. He has had surgery to repair a right torn Achilles. And there was a Show Me Sports Investment Act. We'll talk about it next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Right lane closed by some emergency vehicles southbound 435 right at Truman Road, where Truman Road joins southbound 435. We've got a truck and a vehicle off to the shoulder, but the right lane closed until those cars can get taken out of the way completely. Stalled out car eastbound 70 to Truman Road right out of the downtown area. Also slowing things down and starting to see some brake lights into downtown northbound 71. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Are you living with dry AMD? If so, you could be on the road to geographic atrophy, or GA, a condition that leads to retinal cell death and permanent vision loss. But with Izervay, you can
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay slows GA progression by targeting a key source of retinal cell death, which may help preserve your vision longer. Izervay, or Avastin Captid Pagel, is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
Hey hockey fans, ready for the 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs? Get in on the action throughout hockey's most exciting time of the year with BetMGM, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. Sign up or log in for odds boost tokens and more throughout the 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs. And that's not all. With BetMGM, you'll have access to countless NHL betting options, including new look same game parlays, teasers, live bets, and so much more. Follow the action and excitement of every goal and every game throughout the 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs with BetMGM. Just sign up or log in today, and you'll be on your way to all the NHL action throughout the postseason. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary and expire in 1 to 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select Oil Filter for just $32.99 at O'Reilly Auto Parts. In-store only, limit supply.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select Oil Filter for just $32.99 at O'Reilly Auto Parts. In-store only, limit supply.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FRESH to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
Hey there, Royals fans. We've got more ways to watch your boys in blue this season than ever before with FanDuel Sports Network. Subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network to stream all the action, or, new this season, Royals Baseball is now available on Amazon Prime Video as an add-on subscription. You can also access FanDuel Sports Network through TV providers like DirecTV, Spectrum, Xfinity, Fubo, and more. Visit Royals.com/TV to learn more.
Go check out 96.5 The Fan's Instagram page for videos, giveaways, and behind-the-scenes content. Your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
All right, a couple of pieces of breaking news. Jason Tatum yesterday tore his Achilles. That has now been confirmed. He has already had surgery on it, so we'll see how long Jason Tatum is out. He is out for the remainder of this NBA playoffs. We'll obviously see what effect that has on the remainder of the NBA season and also a large portion of next year, what that means for the Boston Celtics. There also is an amendment that is coming out. This is from John Holt, longtime news man here in Kansas City. Breaking: the Missouri House amends SB 80 to include, quote, the Show Me Sports Investment Act, designed to answer the Kansas Star bonds, which would provide up to 50% of an NFL stadium or Major League Baseball stadium cost with revenue generated by the facility, paying off bonds issued by the states. The Missouri Senate is now debating it. We will have the mayor of Kansas City join us tomorrow to talk about this, but we have all been kind of wondering, what's the fight back? What's the plan from Missouri? It sounds to me like they have come up with a financial plan that is going to help them fight back and try to keep the teams. To me, this is a story for what it means for the Royals, or excuse me, for the Chiefs, far more than what it means for the Royals. You guys know my stance on this. I have never believed that the Royals are moving anywhere. I've always believed that the Royals, their number one priority is to be in downtown Kansas City, Missouri. I think their number two plan is probably North Kansas City, and they are trying to figure all of that out logistically. To me, what this really is about is how do we keep the Kansas City Chiefs? And if you weren't going to get some level of investment from outside Jackson County to be able to do that, and you weren't going to be able to pool your money and resources as a state, I don't think you had a realistic chance of being able to keep the Kansas City Chiefs. So, Rob, I'm curious how you hear this as somebody that lives in Kansas, because Kansas, I think, has shown you their play. We are going to use these star bonds, and we are willing to put a significant portion of a down payment on paying for Arrowhead to move from Jackson County over to Wyandotte County. We have now seen what the Missouri plan is. Hey, we got money too. We are going to come up with a plan that basically gives us the same ability that you guys have in this. So it appears, and we'll obviously get more information about this, the finances seem like it's going to be the same across the board. What do you make of this new Show Me Sports Investment Act?
I'm looking this up because I want to make sure I have this information before I give you my thought, because I'm curious what the timeline is before the Missouri State Senate adjourns, because that's an important note in this whole conversation, because I think once you have that information, it affects how you view this. This could easily be viewed and construed as, and you're someone who lives in Missouri, and a lot of our listeners are too, I imagine they are viewing this as, finally, the state is finally punching back against Kansas. We've been mired in chaos. We've been stuck in the mud. We've been in neutral. We haven't been getting anything going. You know, Frank White's been a problem. Counties, cities, it's just been mired in nothingness. And finally, the Missouri House is taking something to the Missouri Senate, and we have a counterpunch. That is how it could be received. But what I'm curious about is, when does the Missouri State Senate session end? And I remember those dates were important when it came to gambling with Kansas and all sorts of those things. Because when they adjourn, if they don't get it done, it just sits in purgatory. It just hangs out. That's my knowledge of what happens.
I have your answer. The Missouri State Senate ends on May 16th at around 6 o'clock.
So they have till Monday.
3 days to get this done.
If it doesn't get done by Monday, okay, we'll have a different conversation. But for now, it feels like this is them punching back. Now, if they don't get this done, it was viewed as a last-ditch effort that didn't do anything. Because if you have 3 days to get this done, that's 3 days of arguing, and let's see what happens. But I'm curious what took so long to get this counterpunch, for lack of a better term, and if it's going to actually follow through, because the state Senate doesn't get it done. Now you're looking at another wave of timeline where Kansas can operate kind of free reign. This next 3 days, I think, are super valuable for Missouri, because if they don't get it done, it feels like it's all but done. One of those teams is leaving the state.
Yeah, and I guess, now I can't assume, and I understand that Missouri has fumbled a lot of this. I would hope that cooler heads can prevail and you understand what you run the risk of losing. You have already lost an NFL team. An NFL team was in the state of Missouri, and you saw them move clear across the country. Now, that's not what we're talking about here, but the financial effects of it, you certainly feel in St. Louis that you lost an NFL team. I mean, we're talking about losing 2 NFL teams potentially within a decade if you are a state. Hey, you guys fumbled the bag the last time. Are you guys going to fumble the bag for back-to-back here? Again, I think this conversation is much more about the Chiefs than I think it's about the Royals. I think it is pretty clear where the Royals want to be. I think the Royals have expressed it at almost every single turn. We want to be in downtown Kansas City, Missouri. I don't think that's what the Chiefs are looking for. I think the Chiefs are looking for whoever is going to give us the best deal. And up until today, and up until this potential act that we are looking to see if it gets passed, that the financials have always been in Kansas's favor. They seem to have everything lined up. They have rolled out the red carpet. They're building a new amusement park. Or, hey, come over here. This is where you need to be. You are right. This is the first time that we have seen Missouri really punch back with something that sounds like a plan. It doesn't feel like Missouri has had a plan in quite some time. They had a vote. The people voted it down. A year later, it sounds to me like we are getting some semblance of, hey, this is what we plan on doing to try to keep the team. Now, you're right. This is not done yet. They still got 3 days to try to get this thing signed, get everybody on the same page. I also agree with you. If you miss this window of getting it done, what already seems like an uphill battle becomes that much more difficult because you were unable to secure the funding that you are likely going to need to get this deal done.
I'll also say this, and let me get into my Kansas bag here. You just said right there, the Chiefs have always been looking for the best deal. You and I agree there. I kind of feel like the Chiefs are looking for 2 things, actually. Space. I think the Chiefs want lots of space. and they want the best financial deal. I Googled this while you were talking because I wanted to make sure I had my stats correct. The bill that is now passed the Missouri House and head to the Missouri Senate will basically fund up to 50% of a new stadium. The Kansas Star Bond project is 70% of a new stadium. So if it's purely financial still, Missouri is finally punching back. They're still not punching back to the same level the Kansas Star Bond can offer the Chiefs because they can pay 70% versus Missouri is infighting to hope to get to offer to pay 50%. So there's pure deals.
You're right,
the deal's still better on one side.
You're right, but then at that point, though, and this is where I think this is maybe a little Kansas bias coming in just a little bit.
100%.
You're right. But then in that situation, if you're telling me that 50% of the funding is already done, I imagine the Chiefs are going to play for some of their stadium. I think it's pretty clear they ain't paying for a lot of their stadium. They plan on paying it then. I think it is much easier to go to the people of Jackson County with a concrete plan. I think some of it is, hey, where is all this money coming from? How are we paying for X, Y, and Z? If you were telling me that the state has, all right, we are paying for 50% of this, the Chiefs are paying for 20% of this, and now we need Jackson County to come up with the rest, whether it is through a sales tax, whether it's through some of these other things, will you then pay for it then? I am guessing if you can get all your ducks in a row, at some point there will just be another vote that is very specific to this one thing. It was just one thing that failed. It was a 3/8 of a cent sales tax that is set to expire. You can just come up with a new tax. You can just come up with a new way of paying for these things. So that's where I think you're right. Hey, they said they're going to pay for 70% at some point. You would like to think that there is maybe, and I think it is obvious that the Chiefs and the Royals are not operating together. There would just be a very specific Royals vote to either you want to renovate Arrowhead Stadium, or the plan is to eventually tear down Arrowhead Stadium and then build a completely new one the same way that they did with the St. Louis Cardinals.
You're right. And I think those are the things the Chiefs are going to have to answer or make a decision eventually. Because as the text line points out, the text line's correct. The Kansas Star Bond Initiative expires at the end of either June or July. I know it's in a couple months. It's very fast approaching. If Missouri gets this done, now it is a pure what deal is better for us, what the future is. You're right. Can we then approach Jackson County with another tax? What's the timeline on that vote? There's more conversating, more things to be done. But those sorts of things are kind of in the weeds, in my opinion. I think the big thing here is if Missouri can get this done, they finally have some sort of state punchback. If they can't get it done, that's why I've always felt like the Chiefs are going to come across the state line. 70% of your stadium paid for versus we can't figure it out, please don't leave. The financials are just obvious in one direction, but it feels like, despite the fact the last 13 months have been heavy stadium talk, this summer it's going to heat up again because the Star Bond Initiative is going to expire. If the Chiefs are considering going across the state line, they're doing it with Star Bonds. So that timeline's happening.
You know what? I actually looked this up here. That's what I'm doing. I'm here. We're learning this in real time. I actually Googled it. The original expiration date was July 1st of 2026. They have voted to extend it, and now it is scheduled to expire on July 1st of 2028. So there's still a little bit of time before those Kansas Star Bonds expire.
I think they're still ever going to decision by the Chiefs before they.
100%. I just didn't want to make it seem like in 2 weeks the Chiefs need to make a decision. They got a lot of time. They got 3 years to make a decision on what they want to do with this money. Excuse me.
Getting all choked up about the idea the team might leave the state. It's talking about my Kansas showing. Your Jackson County got you
die
in a
over here.
blender.
No, I'm about to die. I know. I'm sad. I'm heartbroken. The Royals and the Chiefs might move. Coming up in about 45 minutes, Eric Hosmer's going to join us. Keep it right here. So drive.
Hey, it's Cole Reagans from the Kansas City Royals. You're listening to The Drive with CDOT on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Harris, Kansas City is giving away $150,000 in guaranteed prizes Saturday, June 28th to celebrate Mid-Year's Eve. One lucky guest will walk away with $50,000 in cold, hard cash at midnight. Plus, leading up to the big finale, you can win up to $2,500 in free play every 15 minutes. The best part? You can earn extra entries into the big drawing from now until June 28th. Don't miss the hottest celebration of the summer, only at Harris, Kansas City. 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. With thousands of 5-star reviews, you can trust us to bring happiness home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
When it comes to barbecue, my family and I love Smokehouse Barbecue. We always start with their barbecue nachos when we dine in at one of their 3 locations in Gladstone, Zona Rosa, or Independence. Then we dive right into their burnt ends, the hickory pit beans, and my favorite, the pulled chicken sandwich. Smokehouse is ready to cater your events as well, whether it's at your house or in one of their banquet rooms. Check them out at SmokehouseBBQ.com. For over 35 years, locally owned and family operated, it's Smokehouse Barbecue.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small, loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Summer's better with True Green, especially at a price this low. For a limited time, get 75% off your first treatment and enjoy your lawn without overspending. With True Green, you get expert care and a plan tailored to fit your lawn's needs, so it looks best while you save big. Let the pros handle the hard work while you enjoy the results, relax more, and keep more money in your pocket. A great lawn has never been this easy or this affordable. Sign up now at TrueGreen.com. Restrictions apply.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Nia.
Hi, Nia. It's Jennifer. Did you know that Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, I work here.
Okay. I was just double checking. Get it?
Because Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, you get me, Nia.
You could say that I double get you.
I guess we've taken it too far.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Find what you love and love what you find at Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, find what you love only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly, B21.
Expect mostly clear skies tonight with a low of 64.
Weather brought to you by Staples. Your local Staples store has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. Save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Heavy traffic out of downtown, eastbound 70, starting some slowdowns into downtown to northbound 35, northbound 71. Looking heavy over the Bond Bridge out of downtown, and some brake lights northbound 35 through Pleasant Valley, starting at about 69 Highway through Pleasant Valley Road. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5, The Fan Traffic.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
We talked a lot about the Royals offense yesterday, and I got some water now. I'm fine. I'm still recovering from that cough that I had and the allergies. They just teamed up to they've been beating me up. But you know what? I'm a survivor. I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to work harder. That's who I am. Yesterday, we talked a lot about the Royals offense. Now, some of you asked the question that I didn't have the stats to yesterday. So you know what I said? I said, Rob, can you find those stats? Because I'd like to look them up. So the Royals are 17-1 this season when they score at least 4 runs. 17-1. You don't beat the Royals when they give you an average or better day offensively. 4 runs is the average. The Royals are a little bit underneath that. If they give you that, they don't lose. So I had Rob look up the other teams in the division, not counting the White Sox, because why would we spend any time looking up White Sox stats? They don't matter. So this is where we are. The Tigers are 25-4 when they score 4 or more runs. They're 2-11 when they score less. The Guardians are 19-2 when they score 4 or more runs. They're 5-15 when they don't. The Twins are 19-3 when they score 4 or more runs. They're 2-17 when they don't. Now, what does this mean? A, it means kind of what I think we all know. Well, I mean, if you don't score, you don't usually win. It's really, really difficult to do it. In fact, the Royals are above average at doing this. They have as many wins as all of these other 3 teams combined because, A, I mean, they've just done it more than these other teams, and their pitching still gives you a chance. You can win a 2-1 game if you're the Royals. You can't necessarily do that if you're these other teams. You don't have the rotation. You don't have the bullpen that the Royals do. Also, the Tigers are 2nd in the American League in runs. The Guardians are 6th. The Twins are 8th. The Royals are 15th in runs in the American League. So, yesterday, the Royals scored, and it was great. And I think that yesterday was the formula for the Royals. Yesterday, you saw the Royals from their top 3 hitters. You saw them get 5 RBIs. 5 RBIs. You saw them get 5 from India, Witt, and Vinny Pasquantino. That's the formula for the Royals. I mean, that's the formula right then and there. Their formula is their big 3, big 4, continuing to generate runs and be at the forefront of it. So, Rob, I mean, that's the numbers right there. You and I said it yesterday. When the Royals give you enough offensively, when most teams give you enough offensively, they're really, really difficult to beat. They just got to do that more often.
I feel like those numbers the AL Central they pulled, like many things with the Royals, and maybe many things in sports, comes with a perception notice. If you are a glass half full type of person, you hear those AL Central numbers and you think to yourself, oh, the Royals are still not good, but they are better than their competition when they fail to score 4 runs. When their offense is held down, the Royals are better than the Tigers when both teams scored 3. They're better than the Guardians. They're better than the Twins. They're still bad. Like 9-17 is bad, but it's it's better than your opponents when you are failing to score. That's the glass half full view. The glass half empty view is those teams, they just have more games where they're scoring more than 4 runs. Like, that's the other important note here. Like, we pulled the Tigers numbers. They're scoring 4 or more runs in a game just more often than the Royals are.
Yeah, for sure.
The Royals being 16-1 when they score 4 or more just really highlights the fact that if they get scoring, they're a problem. But it also highlights they're not scoring all that often. There's been, 42, 43 games so far this baseball season? 17 of them, they can only get above 4 runs? That's not great. Other teams are scoring 4 runs far more often. So when we pull those AL Central numbers, I do think it's a perspective thing. If you want to be glass half full, hey, the Royals pitching is so good that even if their offense is held down, they can win by scoring under 4 more often than their opponents do. The inverse is they're not scoring 4 enough, and the opponents are scoring 4 far more often. That's just how you have to view the 2025 version of the Royals.
The Royals play later today against the Houston Astros. We'll see if they can continue the offense. They scored 7 runs yesterday. We'll see if they can do that again coming up later today. We will have Eric Hosmer join us on the show coming up at the 5 o'clock hour. Eric Hosmer will be on the show coming up in about 30, 35 minutes or so. All right, let's talk about this for just a little bit, and I imagine that this will not be a very popular stance with a lot of people. I love the fact that all the other sports have a draft lottery. Now, I think in some ways, some of the lottery rules are a little bit confusing. Like baseball's, you can't be in the lottery so many different years, and it ends up being confusing. But this would be my point. I want someone to explain to me why being the worst team in your sport should come with a reward. Having the first pick in the draft is a reward. Now, sure, it is not the same as you making the postseason and you advancing in the postseason or winning the Super Bowl. No one is arguing that. But out of all of the teams that miss the playoffs, you are by far and away in the best position simply by being bad. That part has just never really made sense to me. How the goal of the season is, well, let's try to win as many games as we can and be as competitive. Oh, well, if you don't, next year we will give you every possible resource and tool to try to help you be better than next year. No. Now, I don't like the way that the NBA does it where they don't just show it to you guys. I don't like that. I don't like that we do this lottery and it's just the envelopes. And no, if you're going to do a lottery and you're going to tell us that it's random how the top 10 or top 14 teams are selected in the NBA draft, then just do the lottery right there in front of us. Now, sure, some people are going to think that it's rigged. It seems really hard to rig it if there is just a big machine with the balls and now we are determining what, that isn't really, really difficult to rig to me. My conspiracy theory, I can think that about a lot of things. My brain won't let me get to that place when it comes to a conspiracy theory. But if the NFL is the television product that we know that it is, you're telling me that an NFL draft lottery would not be one of the best television things that they could create? Can you imagine if they did exactly what the NBA does? Hey, we're going to have former players. Hey, we're going to have current players. We're going to talk to them. They're going to get dressed up, and we're going to determine who gets the number 1 overall pick. We go into it having absolutely no clue who gets Arch Manning, and it's going to be randomly decided who gets Arch Manning. Sign me up for that. You just got to really convince me on why your team was so bad this year that your reward is we will give you the number 1 overall pick, or at the end of the season, we all see these scenarios. Hey, if you guys win, then you'll have the 9th pick. If you lose, you'll get the 2nd pick. You don't think that there's any pressure in that scenario to, hey, you know what? Why don't we start the young guy at quarterback this week? But he doesn't give you the best chance to win. Where I think the NFL gets off a lot easier than the other teams are, and the other leagues where we just openly acknowledge that teams are tanking, I think teams are tanking, and they're just tanking in a very different way by just simply not trying to be competitive at quarterback. And we see that happen a lot at the end of the season. We don't talk a lot about it because we're talking about the teams that can actually make the postseason, but we all know when there are a handful of teams that have simply given up at the end of the year, and look at who they're starting at quarterback. Well, you're starting Gardner Minshew this week. There's no chance you think that you're winning in this game on the road against the Philadelphia Eagles. I think teams tank in the NFL. It just looks a lot different than how it looks in the other sports. I am all for the NFL going to a draft lottery. You being the worst team in the league should not come with advantages. Having the first pick in every round is an advantage. Having the first waiver claim is a significant advantage in trying to improve your roster. No, that should be random with all the other bad teams in the NFL. That's how I would do it.
I also think it would be better because of how hyper important the quarterback position is. You're right. NFL teams don't tank don't do it in public the way that other leagues do. But it happens. It happens all the time. Out of nowhere, you'll be like, hey, we're benching our quarterback and we're going to go to our backup. We just need a jolt in the offense. What? What do you mean you need a jolt? It's week 15 and you're 2-13. What do you mean you need a jolt? That's tanking without tanking. With how important quarterback is in the NFL, a lottery would be better. Because let's just use this year as the example. A draft that had one quarterback. 2. If you want to count Jackson Dart, cool. But it was a draft that had one high-end guy. You're telling me at the end of the season, the Texans, Giants, Browns, all the Jags, all those teams in the top 5 are thrown into a lottery, and it's not hey, the Titans sucked the hardest. They played Will Levis and Mason Rudolph the most, so they get Cam Ward. You actually, at the end of the year, had a situation where it's pure lottery, and then let's say the Jags, in this example, win the lottery. Then they hold the most important trade piece in football. That would be far more exciting to me than, the Titans stink, the Titans need a quarterback, pick number 1's a foregone conclusion. Most years, pick 1 and 2 are foregone conclusions. I think a lottery would be great because just how important quarterback is. Now, the race to get a quarterback is not just how many games can you lose. It's a little bit of a luck factor involved, or you got to hemorrhage assets to go get that person.
This is where I think that you and I might be the only people that feel this way. And this is where I think the NFL as a whole has done a really good job in how they market and communicate things. Text line 913-586-7965. CDOT, the NFL reigns supreme because of this very reason. There is more parity in the small markets, which gives everybody a chance to win. I'm not really sure how we can watch the NFL and actually believe that. Let me give you an example. We're all here in Kansas City, right? 7 of the last 8 Super Bowls have either had Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady in it. The AFC Championship game has either had the Patriots or the Chiefs in it in every single year since 2011. We're talking 14 years in the AFC. That one of 2 teams have been in the game that determines if you go to the Super Bowl. We talk about parity in the NFL. Let me ask you guys this question honestly. How many teams in the AFC do you think this year can go to the Super Bowl? Because I think if you really try to think about it, it's maybe 4. Yes, Kansas City, Buffalo, and Baltimore. How many other teams do we think? We're saying this, it is the middle of May. How many teams do you think from the AFC can realistically go to the Super Bowl? Because I want to see you guys lie. There's no chance you think that Denver can go. Because if somebody told you Denver will win the AFC West, you would hate that person. If somebody told you the Chargers were going to win the division. So I don't want to hear if you don't think they can win the AFC West, you don't think they can win the Super Bowl. So no other team in the AFC West we think can win the Super Bowl. I don't think there's any team we think in the AFC South can win the Super Bowl. So it's 3-4 teams that could possibly do it. I think the NFL just simply markets the idea of parity more. Parity happens in Major League Baseball. We saw it here in Kansas City. A Royals team won 56 games and then won 86 games the next season and won a series in the playoffs. We should be celebrating that. Small market team, look at what they've done. They've turned themselves into a possible winner. That would be the biggest story in the NFL. It's like the 19th biggest story in Major League Baseball. I just think that the NFL they have marketed the idea that everybody has a chance. No, everybody doesn't have a chance. We're going to watch 17 weeks of the NFL. There's like 7 teams that realistically can do it. And the other teams are just out there for vibes. And yeah, we'll convince ourselves that, hey, man, the Broncos really got a shot. No, they don't. The Broncos don't really have a chance at doing anything. They have a chance at being good enough to make the year fun. They don't have a chance of doing anything meaningful. So I just think in all of this, I just don't know why we go out of our way to reward you being bad. Like, people talk about how much they hate mediocrity in the league. This goes beyond that. We just randomly determine, hey, you know what? We're going to give you Arch Manning just because you guys weren't good this year. No, why should that be the case? Why do you automatically get the best quarterback in next year's NFL draft? You didn't do anything to earn the best quarterback. You were the worst team in the league. No, that you shouldn't be able to do that. I hate it. No, you shouldn't be able to do that. No, you shouldn't.
Also, let's be honest about the NFL's parity. And I'm air quoting parity here with you. It's fraudulent. It's a product of the way they do their scheduling. Like, at some point this summer, we're going to, maybe August, so it's not on the horizon, we're going to do our NFL predictions like we always do. And I'm going to say Team X can make the playoffs after not being a playoff team last year because they carry a 4th place schedule. That's not real parity. That's the NFL watering down the bottom so they can promote the last to first thing every year. We see it all the time. And then you see the NFL media machine churn out, oh, we had a last to first team in a division. Look how much parity we have. Well, when you give the last place team the first pick in the draft and the easiest schedule, yeah, they're going to start winning games. That's the nature of the beast. So I always get frustrated when people gloat and pound their chest, oh, the NFL is all parity. It's fraudulent. It's man-made parity because it's designed to always be churning teams out of that 7-10 to 10-7 wash.
Text line 913-586-7965. See that it's not fair to use the AFC. What about the NFC? I mean, how many teams in the NFC do you think can go to the Super Bowl this year? I'm serious. How many teams do you think can go to the Super Bowl this year? Because over the last decade or so, it's been Philadelphia, San Francisco, and Tom Brady. And Los Angeles, the Rams. They've been twice. I mean, it's been 4 teams in the last 10 years. You either have Tom Brady on your team, you're Philadelphia, San Francisco. They've been to multiple during this time frame. Like, the NFL just isn't as wide open as I think we like to pretend that it is really wide open. I think it's wide open if your goal is to be in the middle. If your goal is to be a 9-win team, yes, I think that every team in the league has a chance to win 9 games this year for the most part. There's like 4 or 5 teams that just don't realistically have a chance. Like, I'd be very surprised if the Browns were good this year. Yes, I think that all 32 teams have a chance at winning 9 games. I think there's maybe 8 teams that have a chance at winning 12 games. And that is usually what you need in order to make the Super Bowl. And I just think we view parity very differently in that way when it comes to the NFL about your ability to be able to, are we measuring parity by your ability to win the championship, or are we measuring parity by your ability to be relevant? Because if we're measuring it by that, then the NBA has way more parity than the NFL does. If we are just measuring it by, are you an interesting team or not? I think we're usually should be judging parity on how many teams do you think can actually win the championship. And I just don't think it's that many in the NFL.
I mean, that's why I say, like, the parity thing drives me insane because it's parity in the middle. It's parity as part of the wash. It's parity as part of that middle cycle. How many teams a year do we, like, we always use the college football analogy. There's a difference from becoming a 6-win team to an 8-win team to a 9-win team to a 10-win type of program. There are levels. In the NFL, there are levels too. There will be a team this year that makes the wild card. There'll be a road team, and they went from 5-12. Oh yeah, that was, they were bad last year. To suddenly they're a spicy 9-8. Maybe they have a chance to get an upset in round 1. They don't. And then we go about talking about, oh, can they make the jump in year 2? That's the parity. The parity is not at the top, but that's because of the hyper value on the quarterback position, which is why I won a lottery. So it's not just, hey, we suck so bad that we found the quarterback and the quarterback changed our trajectory forever. You should have to maybe have a luck factor, or there should be something more than we stink. So then we got Joe Burrow, which what the Bengals did. The Bengals are a fringe Super Bowl team in some people's mind. You want to know why? Because they were so horrible that the trajectory of their franchise changed with one player. There needs to be a system more than we stink, so we got him.
Someone's on the text line is talking about the schedule that is given. I also think that the schedule, it changes all the time. Like someone here says, the NFL constantly awards last place teams with the last place schedule. Well, if they tell you in May that you're playing the Washington Commanders, I mean, yes, it sounded really good, but then that team has changed. So yeah, you had a last place schedule based on the season before, but playing the Broncos in 2013 or 2023 was obviously very different than playing the Broncos in 2024. I think we kind of oversell last place schedule a lot in the league. Text line 913-586-7965. CDOT, it's not meant to be rewarding. It's meant to help the bad teams become better. The good teams don't need help. This is where I disagree, though. I don't know why it is the responsibility of the league to help the bad teams be good. Why can't the bad teams just simply do what other teams do? I mean, the Chiefs got their quarterback. They didn't have the number 1 overall pick. In fact, the Chiefs were picking 27th. You know what the Chiefs did? They were smart. The Chiefs used their resources that they had, and then they moved up in the draft to go get exactly what they needed. It worked out, and then they built their roster that way. I mean, the Chiefs didn't have a traditional model of doing it. The Eagles did not build their team by having the number 1 overall pick and getting their quarterback. In fact, they drafted their quarterback in the 2nd round. They have just been very smart. San Francisco, they spent a top 3 pick on a quarterback. It didn't work, and then they spent the last pick in the draft to do it. The Lions had that ability for 20 years. They then hired the right people. I think it should be at least more based on who you hire, who you put in the positions, and how you manage your resources, not creating a system that funnels all of the resources towards you until you finally get better. I don't think that's the way the system should be. I like the way that baseball does the lottery. I like the way the NBA does the lottery. I like the way that every other sport does their lottery and who gets the top pick on a random selection other than football. I also just think it will be a very entertaining television show if going into it we had no clue who had the top 10 picks of the draft, and the teams that are eligible for the top 10 picks, it was randomly selected who got the top 10 picks, and then we go from there. We got Eric Hosmer coming up in 20 minutes. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Real stories with Hellsberg.
After we met and we started dating, Nancy and I lived 150 miles apart, and I would drive my old jalopy car, and it was roughly a 3-hour distance. It took 3 years I drove across that state, back and forth, dating her every weekend.
Persistence.
And I would have never stopped. I had a lot of energy back then, 36 years ago.
At Hellsberg, find the engagement ring worthy of your story. Designed with the love, care, and craft it deserves. Visit a Hellsberg store or hellsberg.com.
Men, here's the truth. In the bedroom, good enough isn't really good enough, is it? This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if your erectile dysfunction is making intimacy less enjoyable for you and your partner, give us a call today. Because whether your ED only happens sometimes or all the time, it's time to stop good enough and time to start really good. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. Whether it's only mild or moderate, or even if it's severe, our treatments have success rates of well over 90%. And because we have a variety of treatments and can even combine protocols, we can likely get you performing like you haven't in a long time. You could even last up to an hour or more and make sex great again for you and your partner. So make an appointment and be done with good enough. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices to serve you.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here with the Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Please gamble responsibly.
Huge Game 5 tonight in the Western Conference semifinal. Series tied at 2 games apiece. Oklahoma City, a 10.5-point home favorite against Denver. Total in the game, 220.5. OKC with a huge road win in Game 4. And I do think OKC will win tonight and go up 3-2 in the series. But as far as covering the spread goes, I have to like Denver plus the points. Denver Star Center, the best player in the world, has not played his best offensive basketball in the series. I think that changes tonight. So let's take Denver plus the 10.5 tonight on the road in Oklahoma City.
That's it for this Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app and take your game to the next level with the sportsbook born in Vegas. Please gamble responsibly.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
My name is John Clay Wolf. I'm the founder of GimmeTheVin.com. Every month, for the next 10 months, everyone that sells us their car to GimmeTheVin.com will get put in a drawing for a $25,000 winner. We're going to pull one of you out of a hat, and somebody's going to win 25 grand. So we're paying more, and you might win 25 grand. GiveMeTheVin.com. They don't call us America's Best Car Buyer for nothing.
No purchase necessary. For official rules, go to GiveMeTheVin.com.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
I love a day on the water with friends, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis sometimes holds me back. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy.
Teaching music is my passion, but my active psoriatic arthritis can limit me at times. Now I'm treating my joint symptoms with Skyrizi.
With Skyrizi, most people with plaque psoriasis saw 90% clearer skin at 4 months.
Or if you are an adult with active psoriatic arthritis, Skyrizi helps you move with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
There's nothing like clearer skin.
There's nothing like better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Find what you love and love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, find what you love only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly, B21.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
A lot of heavy traffic on the southbound lanes of 35. That starts at 7th Street Trafficway. Off and on does ease up at Shawnee Mission Parkway, where there is a stalled car on the left shoulder, though. Slow into downtown, 71 and 35, and heavy over the Bond Bridge, 435 northbound. Slow from Front Street all the way up through 35. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5, The Fan Traffic.
Follow the station on Instagram at TheFan965 for giveaways and behind-the-scenes content.
Let's wrap up our NFL lottery conversation that I would like to see them go to a lottery situation. A lot of people are saying, well, the NBA is rigged. I would like to point out that I'm talking to a fan base in which everybody thinks that it's rigged for you. And it's ridiculous to think that, right? I mean, you guys have certainly heard enough Bills fan think that the league wants one team to do something. And it's nonsense that they feel that way. Maybe, just maybe, we feel that way that something is rigged when it doesn't go the way that we think it's going to go. So, of course, it has to be rigged. Now, I won't argue with you. Yesterday, watching the Mavericks get the #1 overall pick in the NBA draft felt a little fishy to me. I'm not going to tell you otherwise. I can't 100% tell you that everything is not on the up and up. The same way that I can't tell you that we watched an NFC championship game in which the most egregious pass interference happened right in front of all of us, and the team that was in LA benefited from it. The same way we kind of looked at it, I was like, I don't know, that just seems kind of fishy to me that this happened. Maybe that is just the way that we will always feel about sports. That maybe, just maybe, in a billion-dollar entity, in a billion-dollar business, sometimes there are people working behind the scenes to manipulate the results of all of these things. I'm not saying it's WWE all the time, but sometimes some of the results and the things that happen, they just seem to be a little suspicious. I think we sign up for this all the time. Now, I understand that this is on a much smaller scale. I understand that it's apples to oranges. You don't need to text it in. Like, we have signed up to the idea in sports that if your team is at home, you will be officiated differently than if your team's on the road. Wait, we're not expecting it to be 50-50 officiating all the time. You're just expecting in the basketball game to not get certain calls just because your team is the road team? That doesn't sound a little bit fishy that we have all signed up for that? I don't know. All of it seems a little bit fishy to me. Everybody's a suspect when it comes to it. But it did feel a little suspicious yesterday when it came to the NBA. It didn't make a lot of sense. Rob, you think the NBA lottery is rigged? You think it's rigged?
I do. The main reason I think it's rigged, they do it under this veil of darkness and they're like this weird secrecy around it. If you were to have, and I do not know the man's name, he's the deputy commissioner. He goes out there and announces with the 4th pick, the Hornets, with the 3rd pick, the Sixers, with the 2nd pick. I don't know that man's name. Why does he just walk out on stage with 14 envelopes? You should have us see the ping pong balls popping around or the computer program shooting out the numbers, or it should be something other than an NBA employee walks out on stage with 14 note cards. That to me makes it weird. And either it's just the worst luck ever, but there are too many coincidences where it just seems like the team that was in desperate need of the superstar help got the exact superstar they needed. Patrick Ewing to the Knicks, Derrick Rose to Chicago. You mean you're telling me the prodigal son is going to be the number 1 overall pick? What are the odds? Who could have seen that coming? LeBron went to Cleveland. After LeBron leaves Cleveland the most public way, hey, they get a chance at Kyrie Irving, who might be a weirdo off the court, but he is a very good basketball player when healthy and was key for them winning a title. Last night, the Mavericks make maybe the stupidest trade anyone's ever seen in the history of the NBA, and they get Cooper Flagg back.
They
and
do.
Now suddenly they're one of the top 5-ish teams going into next year when it comes to the NBA, because Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving, Klay Thompson, and Cooper Flagg is suddenly very bio. There are too many coincidences for me to believe it's all coincidental, and they do it under this shroud of secrecy, so I think there's something fishy going on.
Coming up in just a little bit, we'll be joined by Eric Hosmer. Eric Hosmer is scheduled to call into the show coming up in about 10 minutes or so. Very happy to catch up with the future Royals Hall of Fame first baseman, Eric Hosmer, will be on the show coming up at 5 o'clock. Speaking of the Hall of Fame, let's talk about Cooperstown. Let's talk about the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. There are some topics, I don't care who it is, every sports talk radio host has these topics that you keep in your bag. When you're a little bit light on the day, you can always find a story. You can always take that 9-iron out of the bag, and you can always swing that club. And for a lot of people, it was, should Pete Rose be in the Hall of Fame? I actually understand baseball's perspective from this. Baseball gave him a lifetime ban and never really seemed to waver on the lifetime part of it. We have evidence that you did the cardinal sin in our sport. You can do a lot of stuff in baseball. The one thing they tell you to do is don't bet on it. You saw what happened with Shoeless Joe Jackson. You saw the penalty. You knew the risk. You played the game, and you got what comes to you in that scenario. Pete Rose can only blame himself for not being in the Pro Baseball Hall of Fame. Their stance is, if you missed it, they have reinstated Pete Rose today. Why does that matter? Well, he's dead. Their stance is, hey, when we said lifetime, we meant lifetime. You were not getting into the Baseball Hall of Fame while you were with us. But now that you are no longer with us, we are going to lift the ban, and we are going to stay out of it. If you get voted in, you get voted in. If if the media doesn't vote you in, then they're not going to vote you in, and you will just stay outside the Hall of Fame. But it is now outside of our hands now that the lifetime ban has ended. I hope that Pete Rose is inducted into the Pro Baseball Hall of Fame. I hope that they give his family that moment. I hope that they give his children, his loved ones, his friends, all the people that care about Pete Rose. I hope that they give them that satisfaction of a fight that they have spent, I'm guessing, a large portion of their lives to try to get this ban turned and to try to get their loved one into the Pro Baseball Hall of Fame. The one point that would be, this is not up for debate. This is unquestioned to me. If Pete Rose gets into the Hall of Fame, it needs to mention on his plaque what he did. You cannot be selective in how we are going to communicate this. And like most people are pretty complex. You've done a lot of good in your life. Maybe you've done some bad. Certainly some people have done more wrong than other people, but all of us have done something. Pete Rose is a lot of good things about baseball. He really is. Pete Rose, there is not a baseball player who has played harder than Pete Rose. He is maybe one of the 10 greatest hitters that baseball has ever produced. There are a lot of good characteristics about baseball in regards to Pete Rose. There's also a lot of bad, too. And I think that baseball has tried to very selectively only tell you a portion of the story. And for anything that they don't like or don't think represents their game in the best way, they try to act like it never happened. Well, Shoeless Joe Jackson happened. Pete Rose happened. The summer of 1998, Barry Bonds, all of those things happened. And baseball can't only tell you the story about the Peanuts and the Cracker Jack and take me out to the ball game. You also have to tell the story that maybe the most prolific hitter that we have ever seen maybe did so under certain circumstances. You also have to tell us the story that Pete Rose, who has more hits than anybody who has ever played baseball, one day he made the decision to bet on his team. You just can't be selective in how you tell the history of a story. You got to tell us the entire history when it comes to it. And I think that includes adding Pete Rose to where he should be. He should be in a room with all of the other great baseball players. You should also tell us why it took so long for you to put him there. Coming up in 5 minutes, we'll be joined by Eric Hosmer. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
A lot of heavy traffic on the southbound lanes of 35. That starts at 7th Street Trafficway. Off and on does ease up at Shawnee Mission Parkway, where there is a stalled car on the left shoulder, though. Slow into downtown, 71 and 35, and heavy over the Bond Bridge, 435 northbound. Slow from Front Street all the way up through 35. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5, The Fan Traffic.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Guys, don't waste your time and money with low-quality online TRT that charges you over $100 just to start. Visit our TRT experts today at the Low T Center for a free consultation and free test. Treatment is personalized to your body, and most major insurance is accepted with the freedom to choose if you want in-center care or at-home treatment. You're in control of your health. Looking to lose weight? Get a free B12 shot when you start your prescription treatment. Offer limited. Look now at fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective. A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha!
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide Free and Gentle provides an excellent Tide clean, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues like dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on your skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
Life's better with American Family Insurance. Because whether it's a family road trip in your dream car or hosting a family reunion in your dream home, we help you feel protected so you can enjoy those dreams with peace of mind. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Harris, Kansas City is giving away $150,000 in guaranteed prizes Saturday, June 28th to celebrate Mid-Year's Eve. One lucky guest will walk away with $50,000 in cold, hard cash at midnight. Plus, leading up to the big finale, you can win up to $2,500 in free play every 15 minutes. The best part? You can earn extra entries into the big drawing from now until June 28th. Don't miss the hottest celebration of the summer, only at Harris, Kansas City. 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Get ready for summer's heat with a $69 AC tune-up from Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. Our expert technicians will make sure your system is working at peak efficiency to help you save money on energy costs. At Hamilton, we know how important your family's comfort is. Our exceptional service guarantee, plus over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews, are great reasons to trust Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. Visit callhamilton.com for detailed terms and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
Ring the bell! We've done it again. Golden Oak Lending has lowered rates to 4.875 fixed. Lower your monthly payment, get cash out, pay off credit cards, and best of all, make no mortgage payments for 2 months. Lock in this incredible 4.875 rate and get your cash in as little as 14 days. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing, cured my blues.
5.81 APR, FHA, 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Royals coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door. Forward and back, RENNER.
Almost Andy Reid here. It's Mental Health Awareness Month, and Renner Garage Door is giving back. 5% of sales go to Authentic Life Foundation, and you get 5% off your project. Visit rennerdoor.com.
RENNER, RENNER.
Hey there, Royals fans. We've got more ways to watch your boys in blue this season than ever before with FanDuel Sports Network. Subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network to stream all the action, or, new this season, Royals Baseball is now available on Amazon Prime Video as an add-on subscription. You can also access FanDuel Sports Network through TV providers like DirecTV, Spectrum, Xfinity, Fubo, and more. Visit Royals.com/TV to learn more.
What's up, KC? This is Matt Quattrero. On your way home from the ballpark, make sure to listen to Vern's postgame show right here on 96.5 The Fan. I will not be listening.
96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey Sports Station.
Congratulations on getting through your 9 to 5. Thank you so much for listening. It is The Drive. You're listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington Harrison. Very happy to be here. We are waiting for Eric Hosmer to call in. He will call in at some point here coming up in the next 5 minutes or so. Until then, we'll keep you company here on 96.5 The Fan. The top story today in sports is actually a baseball story. So you guys know that Pete Rose recently passed away. He passed away at 81 years old. Today, baseball made the decision to remove his name from the permanently ineligible list. So he is off the list. Shoeless Joe Jackson. There were 17 players in total, but those were the two big names that were removed from the list. They released a statement. I'll paraphrase the statement for you. It was a lifetime ban for Pete Rose. His life has ended. And now it is up to the baseball writers on what they want to do with Pete Rose. If they want to include him, great. If they don't include him, that's fine too. But we have done our part. He is now eligible. Now we'll see what that means. Is this going to go to the Veterans Committee and are they going to induct Pete Rose? Or are they going to leave this up to the writers and let the writers decide what they want to do? I don't think we have all of the information yet, but we'll obviously see what happens. Two parts of this. And let's, I guess, start with this part. Zach Gelb, friend of the show, he had Alex Rodriguez on his show a couple of days ago. And he asked Alex Rodriguez if Shohei Ohtani is the best baseball player that he's ever seen. Alex Rodriguez said no, and he gave the correct answer on who the best baseball player we've ever seen is.
No, the best player I've ever seen is Barry Bonds, like head and shoulders above everyone, almost like Michael Jordan, like just a class of his own. Barry Bonds was so good, it's hard to articulate how good this guy was. He's also baseball royalty with Willie Mays as a godfather and also the great Bobby Bonds as his dad. Barry Bonds is in a class of his own. However, Barry doesn't pitch, and Barry can't throw 100 miles an hour, even though Barry will probably tell you he could. But as far as the most unique, most special player that I've ever seen, it has to be Shohei Ohtani, especially when he's able to, pitch as well, because then that only becomes a class of two. Shohei and Babe Ruth.
So that was Alex Rodriguez when he was asked who was the best baseball player that he's ever seen. I would agree that it's Barry Bonds. I do hope that now we have created a pathway for Pete Rose to go into the Hall of Fame. I hope that there is one as well for a lot of players in the late 90s and 2000s. I hope there's a pathway for those players into the Hall of Fame as well. Let's head to the phone lines right now to be joined by our next guest. Really excited to have him join us on the show today. He is a future Royals Hall of Famer. Eric Hosmer joins us on the show today. Eric, happy to have you join us today, my man.
Hey, appreciate you having me, man. You got some information that I don't know yet, or what's the deal over there? I appreciate that compliment, though.
No, I mean, eventually you're going to get in. I'm not sure exactly when you're going to be in, but at some point you're going to get a call from Sam Mellinger or Kurt Nelson, and they're going to tell you that they're having Eric Hosmer Day at the K.
Hey, that would be a tremendous honor, man. But I tell you what, the day for Gordo coming up in June here is going to be well-deserved, and I couldn't be proud to be his teammate, and I'll be there in support of him no matter what, absolutely.
What is it like to see so many of your players starting to have those days? I mean, Kane had one last year. You mentioned Alex Gordon. Mike Moustakas is coming up as well. What is it like to see so many of your teammates having their day in the sun at Kauffman Stadium?
I mean, it's incredible, man. I've said time and time, I was with Salvi when he got demoted from low A to rookie ball, which is weird. Gordo, we all went to extended spring training in 2010. Moose, Gordo, and I left to fly out to Myrtle Beach on the same day, and Gordo upgraded me to first class, and we were there when he was going through his switch to the outfield. So to be able to go and celebrate these guys' careers and the adversity on the baseball field that we've all been through, we won a world championship together. I mean, it truly is special to be able to just take in these moments with all these teammates and all these guys.
One thing that I've always thought is pretty cool is that the Royals, I think they do a great job as an organization celebrating you guys. At the Royals, and certainly this dates back to Date Moore, they talk about family, they talk about community. I also think they live that out, and they have you guys back regularly. They try to reach out to players from 85 and 2015. What has it been like to work with the Royals in this capacity now on the other side of it, and now you are the one that they are celebrating?
Yeah, it's awesome. And honestly, all the stuff you said in collaboration with everybody, throughout the Royals, Missouri, Kansas City, that whole area, Kansas, because we know the fans, we know how to celebrate, and they make the moment that much more special. I remember as a player, there were so many pregame ceremonies that I made it a point to go out and listen to whoever was getting inducted into the Royals Hall of Fame or if somebody was speaking, and there was always a sellout crowd in their seats there for the ceremony. So, I mean, that's part of it. They make the moment that much more special. And now that we get to parlay it as well with the 85 team, I think it's really going to be just a fun celebration for everybody.
What was the relationship like between those two teams? Because at opening day, they had Willie Wilson throw out the first pitch. They also had Lorenzo Cain throw out the first pitch. And it was just really cool to see two Royals greats, two of the better and more important players in Royals history go out there and do it. It seems like they are kind of combining you guys. Friday, they're celebrating the 85 team, and they're celebrating your 15 team on Saturday. What was the relationship like between the players from 85 and you guys?
It was amazing, man. I think George was really the leader of kind of bringing those 85 guys back to spring training days throughout the season, certain cities throughout the road, during the season when we would meet up with these guys for lunch. They would come to the clubhouse. We'd share BP with them. And it was awesome, man. We got to, connect with those guys, not only in the locker room, but off the field as well, get to go to some dinners. So it truly is going to be fun. We always got to catch up with them at FanFest and did some fun things like Royals Caravan and all that type of stuff. But this is going to be different. We're celebrating 2 seasons, 2 memorable seasons, and to be able to get to do it together is going to be really it's a special time for all the Royals fans.
Right now, we're talking to Eric Hosmer. They are having a celebration for the 2015 Royals coming up on Saturday. Whenever you get asked stories about 2015 and to go back, what's your favorite story? What's your favorite memory from that time in your life?
Oh, man. I mean, you can just name a person and I'll think of something. But one that comes to mind, I mean, I'm out here up in the Northeast right now, and I drive by Citi Field quite often, and I'm sure you guys see on social media I like to mess with these people out here in the Northeast saying the stadium still smells like champagne. And, I will never forget the moment where Kane hit the bases clearing double against Bartolo Colon, and everybody in New York just kind of cleared out. And there was the family section and then another section of Royals fans in the very top left corner, and it just seemed like we had taken over the baseball world, so to speak. And that just jumps to mind when I think of 2015. I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it.
We were talking about community from the Royals aspect. I think what made that run so special in 14 and 15 is you guys did such a great job of making fans feel like they were a part of it, whether it was McFadden's, whether it was walking around and slapping hands with people who were in attendance. Why was it so important for you guys to also take, our community on this same journey with you guys?
We fed off the fans' energy, and I think we all, from the pop-up against the Blue Jays to certain moments throughout those postseason runs where we truly felt that the fans were creating a home field advantage. So, I mean, it was only right to go out there and celebrate with them. And, there's one thing that sticks out in all of our minds, and that was in 2014, unfortunately, when the Panda made that last out and just lied down on the field. I mean, 10 minutes after that out was made, the whole entire crowd was there standing up, cheering, "Let's go Royals." And it was like, man, they truly still have our backs. Like not every fan base does this. So to win that next year, it's like, we got your backs just like you had ours. And I felt like as players, we did a great job showing it through celebrations off the field. And in moments like this, we're going to continue to make up for it because we're excited for this weekend.
Eric, this is how I kind of at least play it in my mind. You guys didn't lose in 2014. You just didn't win in 2014. Like that year, the ride was just so amazing. Like my mind just stops for Game 7. I obviously know what happened, but I just don't look back on it like you guys lost in 2014.
Oh, that's so right. You're so true, man. And like, it's so true what you're saying because, obviously I went on to the NL West. I saw Bumgarner numerous amounts of times, and there were so many times I'd be out hitting early on the field or just out at BP, and he would come up to me and he'd be like, "Man, y'all's team, that was one of my favorite teams I've ever seen." And I'm like, "Madison, man, I appreciate that, but you're kind of the reason why we didn't go all the way." And it's kind of a loser's mentality to say, but I truly felt that we were the best team and we were the better team. But, man, Bumgarner was just he wasn't missing spots. He was essentially unhittable that week or that World Series, whatever it was.
I mean, some folks kind of laugh at me for saying this. I think I had more fun with 2014 than 2015. Obviously, you guys won in 15 in the parade, and we'll talk about that and just how fun it was. But what happened in 14 was it just came out of nowhere. You guys were a good team in August, but certainly not a team that people thought, hey, this team could possibly win the World Series. And then it just felt like there was this like 6 to 8 week, like, what happened where every day you could feel the momentum building and building and building up until one day you're just sitting there and, oh, wait, the Royals are hosting Game 1 of the World Series.
Yeah, and honestly, it's funny because, again, you're spot on because after the wild card game, we get on a bus, we're going to the airport, and, I mean, our phones are blowing up. We're on the bus. We're talking to people back home. We got TVs on the airplane, and we're watching all the highlights of the game. It's crazy. And we fly into Anaheim at 5, 6 in the morning, whatever it was, and I remember Ned just telling us, hey, because throughout the playoff games, you have to go to the field to do media days and be available, and it's national media, all that kind of thing. So Ned's like, hey, let's just go knock it out in the morning. Let's go there, do our workout, talk to the media, get back and rest, and then we'll just go from there. And we're like, man, like, I don't know if this is a good idea, Ned. We haven't slept all night, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, man, it truly felt like that was just a continuation of that dream from the wild card game, like you're saying. And then in the World Series, just Madison just did what he did.
Did you guys ever have that this is real moment? Because I remember exactly what it was for me. So I was at the wild card game, and it just still felt like, man, hey, they won this one playoff game. Hey, I'm cool with whatever happens against the Angels. And it was that game 2 where you have the big home run and you guys have the big inning. I remember it like it just happened. I remember thinking, man, I think the Royals can go to the World Series. Like, there's something special about this team. Did you ever have that moment, or was it just you're living in the moment and you're just going along for the ride?
No, it truly did. It continued to build, too, because, like, it was like, okay, we just did this against Anaheim. We came back 2 games on the road. We come home. And, I mean, I felt like that game 3 against Anaheim, we dominated that game. So it's like, okay, if we can just get it to the bullpen late in the game, then we'll be all right. Then it's like, okay, we win a couple games in Baltimore. If we can just kind of split the series, make it to home field advantage, we end up sweeping, bringing it back to home field. So it just continued to build throughout. And it really did, man. It's kind of like, what the heck is going on? Like, we believed in ourselves, but we're about to start the World Series here tomorrow. It's like we haven't lost a game in the playoffs either. It was crazy to get to that point.
I don't think I've ever got a chance to ask you this, and we'll move to 2015 for just a little bit. You guys are down in the ALDS against Houston, and we kind of hear about this great Moose speech. What do you remember most from that speech? Why do you think it was such a galvanizing point for you guys to win that game and ultimately carry that all the way through the World Series?
It was just classic Moose, man. Like, when Moose is pissed off about something, like, he's going to get his point across. And if you're not listening, or if you don't have your undivided attention, like, he will punch you in the mouth. So you damn sure make sure to listen to when he's talking. And his energy, the way he was saying it, and the conviction that he was saying it with in that dugout, he was like, boys, like, I'm not ready to go home right now. Like, we did not just talk about this whole 14 run, dominate the regular season in 15, and get to this spot to just blow it. And I truly felt like it was just so much conviction behind his message that, like, we weren't letting him down, and we just continued to believe after each hit that inning that piled up.
Right now, we're talking to Eric Hosmer here for a couple more minutes. They are celebrating the 2015 Royals this Saturday at Kauffman Stadium. We'll fast forward to 2015. As best as you can remember, take us through your dash at home. I think that's one of those iconic moments. I'm sure in your man cave you got a picture of this moment. Take us through that moment where you score against the Mets.
Oh, man, it's so fun going through it, too, because every time I felt like it's such a good idea, and every time I go back and look at the highlight, I feel like I could have got so much more off the bag, like initially when David had the ball. But I felt like it was a great idea literally until he let go, and then I was like, man, I just have to get to this plate and touch the plate before he tags me somehow, some way. And thank God it worked out the way we did. But, I know everyone always hears me talk about it was in the scouting report, the coaches, Jersh, Rusty, everyone continued to talk about it. So I truly believe that had something to do with my decision and just taking off.
Yeah, I think what's so cool kind of about that team is the fact that, it wasn't just a lot of home runs. Like, you guys just played a very entertaining style of baseball, both on offense and defense, that if I asked 10 Royals fans during that time frame, hey, tell me your favorite play, 5 people are going to tell you a play on offense, 5 people are going to tell you a defensive play. Like, I think to where Kane, he makes those 2 back-to-back diving catches, and Kane usually isn't somebody that's rah-rah, all excited, and he got up as fired up as I can remember him. Like, you guys could beat people in just so many different ways.
Yeah, that was. And I remember those catches you talked about with Kane, because it's one side, the other side, and it's like, dude, that is his outfield, and there is nothing. That's a no-fly zone out there. And it was about time, like, you get to see Kane let out some emotion because, like you said, he's just always so humble about it.
Eric, what is it like now to kind of be the OG now? You got a podcast, you're doing really well. I'm sure that younger players come up and they ask you questions. What is it like to go through, like, a lot of people have seen your full maturation. Like, you were the Bobby Witt Jr., you were the young phenom, and now you're the older guy. You got a family, you're married, you got kids, you're kind of the OG now. What is it like to go through that entire baseball cycle?
Well, I tell you what, first things I want to clear up is I was not the Bobby Witt Jr., because this kid is different than anything I mean, we've seen he's unbelievable. But no, I understand what you're saying, and it is crazy, man, to be the young guy now or then and then now be in the position I am, especially having a son and honestly hoping and just trying to find any which way for him to love Bobby, and he will, and that'll happen when baseball happens. But the Royals always did such a good job. We mentioned with the '85 team, and those guys would always be there, giving back, sharing knowledge, and just helping us grow and develop throughout the game. So, obviously I played for some other teams after the Royals, so I wanted to do that on a bigger platform. But I've certainly taken a liking to, communicating with the fans on X, with Royals fans throughout their games, certain plays that happen. And I just feel like I got a bank full of baseball knowledge, and kind of whatever baseball fans want to hear, I'm more than willing to give it to them.
So your son is a little bit younger. He was born in 2022. So your son is not going to know the same Eric Hosmer that we know. Like, he wasn't alive to watch you play baseball. At some point, you're going to have to show your kid how good he was, how good you were at baseball. What are you going to show him whenever you got to show him what a player you were?
Man, I don't know. I tell you what, maybe I'll show him interacting with some of these superstars like Bobby and Aaron Judge and these guys. But I tell you what, we just got haircuts the other day, and he got the little Haas mohawk. So I'm hoping he can look back on these reunion days and these photos and just understand, he got to be a part of it after the fact. And like you said, man, I want him to have his own journey, but at the same time, for him to be able to look back and have these moments and now sharing with me it's going to be pretty cool.
What is the plan for you guys this weekend? You guys have a gala, I believe, on Thursday. Are you guys going to be at the park all weekend? What is the plan for you guys while you're all in town?
That's awesome you say that, because I think Dabby's getting swarmed with text messages. He's the traveling secretary, Davenport, of, hey, what's the plan? What are we doing, man? What should we wear? What's the deal? I think we all just know we're going to be in town. We're going to the game Saturday. We got the gala Thursday, and it's going to be a fun celebration. So, we all look forward to it. The gala is going to be a tremendous time. The game's going to be a tremendous time. And just the whole weekend, both teams getting to collaborate and get to celebrate together with the fans is going to be just a blast.
Last thing here, I guess I want to ask you how important Kansas City is in your life. You accomplished a lot of really good things. You got called up at 21 years old, and a large majority of your 20s you played in Kansas City. You made the All-Star game in Kansas City. You won a World Series in Kansas City. How important was this area in your life and helping you become an adult?
I mean, it was everything. It was such crucial years in my life. I met my wife in Kansas City, Casey, and Dayton Moore is somebody who I continue to idolize to this day. And I'm so thankful to be drafted by Kansas City and a guy like Dayton Moore, because, he truly did mold us into young professionals on and off the field. And then, going through some tough times early on in Kansas City, individually and as a team, the fans were always supportive. Obviously they're passionate, they want to win, but at the same time, it's always an encouraging message and it's always positive. And, I was young, I was extremely energetic at that age. So I'm thankful that their energy was that way, because I could have took it a different way, but they helped me grow. And, again, we're all world champions because of it, and we all get to celebrate now in times like this.
I'll get you out of here with this last question. When was the last time that you wore your World Series ring?
Oh, man. So the boys were just in town playing the Yankees, and I busted it out. I went to the Wednesday night game. I wore it then. I wore it at the playoff game the year before as well when they played the Yankees in the Bronx. But other than that, man, it's been a while since I had worn it.
And that is Eric Hosmer joining us on the show today. You can see him at Kauffman Stadium this weekend. They are celebrating the Royals 2015 championship this Saturday at Kauffman Stadium. Eric, man, I'm really happy to see everything that you were doing, man. I follow you on social media. I keep up with the podcast too, man. I appreciate you popping on today.
I appreciate the love, guys. I'll see you guys this week.
Absolutely. That is Eric Hosmer joining us on the show today. Salute to him, as he is going to be at Kauffman Stadium this weekend. Maybe I'm the only one that feels this way. 2014 was such a ride and wave of emotion that I don't think that 2015 was able to one-to-one replicate, and none of the Chiefs Super Bowl runs. Now, some of that is just due to the fact that it was first. And what I think is also very different now that we've seen what a Super Bowl run looks like and a World Series run is, the baseball is just every day. It's very different than the football playoff. The football playoff, they play on Sunday and then they play the next Sunday. It's the same kind of rhythm. that you are used to over the course of the regular season. It obviously just the intensity and the importance of the games pick up as the season progresses. The baseball playoffs, it's very important game on Monday, and then you react to it, and then we're going to do the exact same thing again on Tuesday, and then we'll do it again on Thursday, and it just builds and builds and builds. That if you were here in 2014, you just remember the Royals were a 500 team in the middle of August, and they went on an incredible run, and then next thing you know, you look up, and they're hosting the wild card. Like, I'll never forget it. You remember, Rob, on that Monday, it was the Patriots game in which the Chiefs blew out the New England Patriots. If you remember, Belichick, after that Chiefs game, was then asked about Jimmy Garoppolo being the starter for the New England Patriots. So that happened on Monday. The wild card game was on Tuesday. They are then flying to Los Angeles against the Angels. It was just such a wave for those 2-3 weeks. And ultimately, they end up hosting game 1 of the World Series and hosting game 7 of the World Series as well. I understand they won in 15, so obviously it's better. It was a better conclusion. But I don't know if we have seen a run that can match the drama of what they accomplished in 2014.
I also think you see that, like, I assume a lot of people have seen this photo. You look at, like, the Chiefs parade photos, and then look at the Royals one. That 2-year window captivated the city in a way I don't think I've ever seen anything captivate the city. Like, Patrick Mahomes is fantastic, and he's all these great things, but he's like going to be a 10, 15-year guy in town. That was like a true, like the kids say, a moment. That game was just, that 2-year run was just, it was honestly spectacular, and it feels like a blur. Like, 2014 ends, 2015 starts, they basically start fighting everyone in April, and then it feels like you blink an eye and you're like, oh, here we go again. It's the postseason all over again. It almost feels like a fever dream when you look back at it. It was a really magical time for the city.
No, absolutely. We'll continue talking about this coming up on the other side. We'll also talk about the Royals. Yesterday, the Royals offense got going yesterday. Keep it right here, so drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for K-State Athletics, 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Baseball fans love the long ball, and FanDuel is giving you even more reasons to love home runs every Tuesday during the MLB season. Because with Dinger Tuesdays, all FanDuel customers get a home run profit boost. That means when you bet on moonshots, you can take your winnings to new heights. So whether it's a big blast or an Oppo Taco, FanDuel is your home for betting home runs. Just visit FanDuel.com/Alex and gear up to go yard all season long. That's FanDuel.com/Alex to claim your Dinger Tuesday profit boost. Make every moment more with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. We can reawaken any space to make your happy place your home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
If you're looking for that new career path, if you thought about IT, think about IT. It's needed in every single industry, whether it's sports, healthcare, construction, manufacturing, you name it, and Centric can help you get there.
No better time in the city either. KC Tech Council has 3,000 IT jobs open in March alone. 3,000. Centric can train you to do one of those jobs.
We've told you about our friend Russ Mondry and his expertise in this field. Over 16 years at Centric. He's going to help you find that career path. So go to Centric.com.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Wendy's has this new Cajun Crunch chicken sandwich. And to be honest, I'm kind of crushing hard on this Sammy. It's packed with bold Cajun flavors and topped with crispy onions for a satisfying crunch. All on Wendy's iconic spicy chicken sandwich. It's honestly kind of my dream sandwich. I hope it likes me back. For a sandwich you'll love, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Hours may vary by location.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
What's up, baseball fans? It's time to swing big on your bets this season. Step up to the plate with an odds boost token from BetMGM, an official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. No opt-in is required. Just log into your BetMGM account to receive your odds boost token. Then place a bet on any MLB game and activate your token. If your boosted bet hits, you'll score a bigger payout, no matter the showdown. BetMGM is your betting home for baseball. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. Must be 21 years of age or older. This U.S. promotional offer not available in Mississippi, New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. For New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. For Massachusetts, 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, 1-800-981-0023. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary and expire in 1 to 7 days in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Here's traffic brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
The technicians you can trust with your house keys. Anthony's Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. Emergency vehicles closing the left lane northbound 435 just past 71 in the Triangle. Heavy into downtown northbound 71 and out of downtown eastbound 70. Also that 435 and 70 exchange looking sluggish. And having a look at the southbound lanes of 35, the biggest slowdowns there started about 7th Street Traffic Way and ease up at Shawnee Mission Parkway. Money back guarantees, parts and labor warranties mean you aren't just buying products, you're securing your investment. For a limited time, receive a free furnace when you purchase an AC. Schedule your complimentary proposal online at anthonyphc.com. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Hey Kansas City, it's Michael Waka. Welcome into The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Royals baseball, 96.5 The Fan.
I'm sure this has happened to those of you that are parents. Has your kid ever said something and it kind of stumped you a little bit and you were like, good point? Like you were arguing it and then they said it in such a way that like made you think, or they asked you a question like, why is that? And then you tried to explain it and then they were like, well, that doesn't make any sense. And you were like, no, you're right. No, you're right. No, I can't argue that. Good point. Go ahead and play. I do not feel like the NBA lottery is rigged. I don't think it's rigged. I think it is pretty difficult to rig something like that. But if you think it's rigged, I cannot tell you that you were wrong. And in fact, you have a lot of good points on why it could potentially be rigged. If you were telling me what are the chances that a once-in-a-generational basketball talent is born in Akron, Ohio, and that the Cleveland Cavaliers get the number 1 overall pick in that same year, I think you make a good point. This is now the second time that the Lakers have been on the positive end of a major trade, and then the team that traded the superstar player to them got the number 1 overall pick the next season. That happened first with Anthony Davis when he got traded to the Lakers. They then got the number 1 overall pick. They got Zion Williamson. It then happened again with this year's draft after a mysterious trade that sends Luka from Dallas to Los Angeles. He was only available to the Los Angeles Lakers. They still didn't get top dollar, I think, for Luka Doncic. They then get the number 1 overall pick to pair with Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis. When their general manager has been receiving heat every day for the last 3 months, you now took all the pressure and spotlight off of them. I'm not telling you that it's fixed, but if you fixed it, if you created what's in the best interest for us regarding the NBA lottery, it would kind of look like this one. I think it's ridiculous to think that it is rigged. I do. I genuinely think it is ridiculous. But I can't tell you that you are wrong if you think it's rigged. I can't tell you that you're wrong. Someone on the text line says, C-Dot, I hate to break it to you, but Cooper Flagg is not LeBron James. I don't think he's LeBron James. I think he could be Anthony Davis. I mean, if you just gave them a younger version of Anthony Davis, that seems like a really big positive. Cooper Flagg is 18 years old. You guys saw what he just did in college basketball? He's 18 years old. I think he's got a chance to be a really, really good NBA player. He ain't even got his grown man strength yet. I think he's a generational basketball talent. I really do. I think he's a generational basketball talent. I think he is probably the biggest. I would say Zion was probably one of those talents as well. Just like this man is just incredible. I've never seen anything like this. I think he's probably the best American prospect we've seen since LeBron, actually. Maybe KD would be the answer we would look at, but I don't know if he looked at Durant the same way that I think we look at Cooper Flagg with just all the things that I think he can do.
Anthony Davis.
I think Cooper Flagg's a better prospect than Anthony Davis was coming out of college.
Really?
I do.
I don't. Maybe I watched a lot of Cooper Flagg last year because it was a star at a major university in college basketball. When I watched Anthony Davis, I thought, oh, he's just doing things on the court no one else can do. He's just different. Cooper Flagg's like really fundamentally strong, and his basketball IQ I think is off the charts. But there are just plays that Anthony Davis made that I went, your jaw dropped. I never had a moment where my jaw dropped with Cooper Flagg. That's not to say he's not generational or all those things. I think if you were to look at 18-year-old Anthony Davis and 18-year-old Cooper Flagg, I would take 18-year-old Anthony Davis out of Kentucky. Maybe it's the fact that he beat Kansas in that title game, but a couple plays he made in that game, you just go, how?
Yeah, I actually think that Anthony Davis has just developed in a lot better way than I thought he was. I don't think his offensive game was very good back in those Kansas days. I think he was pretty raw offensively back then, and he was just by far and away the best defensive player and the best rebound, and I think he's just figured it out over time where he's developed his game. He can step out and shoot it now. He can put it on the floor. I think that we're talking about at 18 years old, I think that Cooper is just more developed as a complete player than I think he was. Let's talk about this. We haven't talked about this, at least in the 5 o'clock hour. Hosmer called in. Shout out to Eric Hosmer for calling into the show today. I am on you guys' side 98.7% of the time. Sometimes I think you guys are wrong. Sometimes I'm wrong. We got to have those checks and balances. But a lot of times with how the NFL schedules things, I think it's pretty inconvenient for us. The fact that they are putting games on Friday in the fall, they shouldn't do that. I think it inconveniences families to do it that way. I don't think they should do it. I don't really have much of a problem this year with how they schedule the Christmas Day game for the Chiefs. So if you missed it, 2 games, and really 1 game is out for the Chiefs, but I think we know the other one. Officially, they've only announced 1 game. The Chiefs are going to play on Christmas night on Amazon Prime. it is important to note, because I know last year I was very I didn't like the fact that that Netflix was showing the Christmas Day games. Those games were on a Wednesday. The NFL never plays games on a Wednesday. This time they're playing games on a Thursday. They play every single week on a Thursday. So I think that the player, and I think that us as fans, as people that buy the tickets, people that watch the games on television, I think we are conditioned for football on a Thursday. I also think, at least honing it in on the Kansas City side of this, I understand that everybody celebrates Christmas, or maybe you celebrate Hanukkah or something else. We all celebrate those things differently. But I would say by 7 o'clock at night, a majority of people have kind of wrapped up their festivities for the day. So maybe you went to church, or you went to mass, or you went to a religious ceremony earlier in the day. Maybe you did Christmas gifts early in the morning. Maybe you had a brunch. Maybe you did a dinner. However you celebrate the day, that's on you. But usually around 5, 6 o'clock, we are winding down for the day. And now you're going to watch a movie. You're going to watch TV. You're going to do some other family activity because the day is winding down. I think that's now watching football, at least on this day, on a Thursday. I mean, they were going to have a Thursday night football game anyway. The same way that they have scheduled games on Christmas when they've been on a Sunday. Hey, we usually play games on a Sunday. This year, Christmas just happens to fall on a Sunday. We are keeping our same schedule. For the Chiefs, they're simply just having them play Thursday night football then. I don't think the Chiefs are playing multiple Thursday night football games this year. I think they're playing one. I would be a little bit surprised if they put them on another Amazon Prime Thursday night football game. Now, they'll play on Monday Night Football. They'll play on Sunday Night Football. And we already know they're going to get a handful of 325 games. They'll play on CBS. They'll play on Fox. They're going to play in a majority of their 325 games. They're not going to have a whole lot of noon games. They're not really in the business of burying the Kansas City Chiefs and putting them behind other games. I don't think them playing on Christmas night's that big of a deal. In fact, I actually kind of like that they play on Christmas this year. I remember when the NFL expanded Thanksgiving, because they've always had the Lions, they've always had the Cowboys, and that was it. The games ended. And then one year they decided that we were going to expand it, and we were going to do a primetime night Thanksgiving game. We've had some pretty good nighttime Thanksgiving games. The very first one was actually the Chiefs. They played the Broncos in that game. I went to that game. It was a lot of fun. It was kind of cool to go to a Thanksgiving football game. I never thought I would have the opportunity to do that because I thought that only the Lions and the Cowboys would have those. So it was kind of cool. This is kind of unique. Hey, you do all your Christmas stuff during the day. Let's say you wrap it up by 3 o'clock. You guys now go out to the stadium. You guys create your own little holiday memories, little festivities, have yourself a little eggnog, you tailgate, you go into the game. I'm actually for this one. I'm not against pushing back with the NFL. You guys know that when it comes to the schedule. Them playing a Thursday night football game during the season, that's in bounds to me. That is what the players have signed up for. I think the NFL is asking them pretty routinely to do things that they didn't sign up for. They're playing Friday games in Brazil now. They got the Minnesota Vikings. They are playing 2 weeks overseas, and they're playing in multiple locations. It's just a lot of stuff going on with the NFL. But this one I actually think is in bounds. The Chiefs are probably, we don't know yet, but I'm guessing they're going to play their one Thursday night football game on Christmas night on Amazon Prime. I don't have much of an issue with that. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
This man was a bona fide scrub.
On 96.5 The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
The NBA semifinals are here, and that means all the show-stopping action continues and even gets turned up a notch. Don't miss your chance to bet on all the legendary moments with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app. Want to see if that guy's hitting his over consistently, or maybe they've been flirting with a potential triple-double. Get the latest stats right inside the FanDuel app. And once the game starts, that's when things really get interesting. You can combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance to win big. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. When you place your first $5 wager, all you need to do is visit FanDuel.com. Use my promo code KFNZ to join today. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 in President, Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued with nominal drawable bonus bet, which expires 7 days after restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Get up with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
You need parts? We got parts. Product availability? Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. Get one free set of brake pads when you buy 2 brake rotors. Upgrade to Brake Best Select brake pads for $10 more, or upgrade to Brake Best Select Pro or Import Direct pads for just $20. Offer in-store only. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
When it comes to barbecue, my family and I love Smokehouse Barbecue. We always start with their barbecue nachos when we dine in at one of their 3 locations in Gladstone, Zona Rosa, or Independence. Then we dive right into their burnt ends, the hickory pit beans, and my favorite, the pulled chicken sandwich. Smokehouse is ready to cater your events as well, whether it's at your house or in one of their banquet rooms. Check them out at smokehousebbq.com. For over 35 years, locally owned and family operated, it's Smokehouse Barbecue.
Cosentino's food stores are celebrating 77 years of serving Kansas City. Come in today for incredible anniversary savings across the store. You'll find some of the hottest prices of the year, now through May 20th only. From fresh produce to family favorites, don't miss the unbeatable prices at every Cosentino's location. For 77 years, it's been our family's honor to serve yours, and we're just getting started.
Lowe's knows a thriving yard starts with quality care. Right now, get Miracle-Gro 3/4 cubic foot all-purpose garden soil for just $2. Was $4.58. Plus, get a free Select Ego 56-volt trimmer or blower with the purchase of a Select Ego 56-volt mower. The best yard starts with the best deals. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 5/14, excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
I'm Brian Tedesco, CEO of Blaupunk Americas, the pioneers of the car stereo. Today, we're not just about sound systems. We are revolutionizing the e-bike scene with Blue Dot Bike. Thanks to AmericanEagle.com, our online presence now features a dynamic e-commerce website that showcases the quality and affordability of our foldable e-bikes. And our collegiate e-bikes, just perfect for the college fanatic. These e-bikes offer a new way to experience freedom on 2 wheels, no matter your age. When we needed a top-notch website to match our cutting-edge e-bikes, we turned to